to another edition of Ask Michael Eline. This is where I teach people the law in an unorthodox manner by using examples that we see in the news, case law briefs, but it's all about exposing the Leviathan and its instrumentalities and taking back your rights. Know the law and mean to keep it well. Come here to learn from an expert to know your right. Make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, because we never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel. All right, guys. So really quick, I'm just going to tell you what we're going to do today. We've got understanding FOIA and state info requests, and that's going to be Texas state because we've got BZWatchdog who's in Texas. I am Michael Eline. I am a California and Texas personal injury attorney, but I do help with First Amendment and civil rights type cases, and I've got BZWatchdog who's been having a lot of success in FOIA and State Public Information Act requests. And I wanted to have him on to share his experiences with you, because I think it's the missing link with a lot of cop watchers and auditors, where you have cops who are bad cops and they violate your rights, or city officials, public officials violate your rights, but you don't follow up to do public records requests to find out what the heck is going on. And you'll find that if you do that, that you can hold their feet to the fire. And if you get a crummy request back, you might get a clue in that request where you can file a follow-up request, and ultimately you could build a case. But you have to be vigilant. Holding public officials accountable is a full-time job. And so anyways, I wanted to go ahead and just introduce you once again. We got BZWatchdog. BZWatchdog is down in Texas. He's a former Marine, and he helps me with a lot of legal research, and I always try to support him in his channel. He's had great success doing cop watches and audits that are a little less aggressive than a lot of the ones you've seen, where he gets a lot of great info, and he has a good combination of comedy and aggression, where he doesn't get himself arrested, which I think is really cool. And also I want to thank everyone in the sidebar. Thank you, Dawood. Thank you, Chevy. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Junkie Nuts. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you, Kevin Bernarski, and Brick Jonesy, as always. Thanks for showing up. Give me a bunch of OTVOs in the sidebar. Give me a bunch of ones if you missed Chili. And for those of you who don't know, I saw Chili on Wednesday. I may see him this weekend, or at least midweek next week. And I gave an update on the last video that I did on the Delete Laws channel, where I came for the first time in my, I guess, cameo appearance as a guest host. So I guess I'm kind of like the Tucker Carlson of Delete Laws now. I don't know. What do you think, BZ?
I don't know about Tucker Carlson. More like,
well, what am I? What am I? What would I be? Johnny Carson?
No, you're not that funny.
By the way, I have anybody who does want to give my wife a super chat. I have this Casa Amigos over here.
I was thinking I was kind of thinking more like Ed McMahon.
I'm Ed McMahon. Okay,
the side host. I'm Johnny Carson.
I want to be Johnny Carson. Johnny, here's Johnny. All right, so let me really quick here.
As long as we don't go to politics, I don't have to call you Jon Stewart.
Hold on, man. Let me. So you guys all saw that up there. I have
crispy bacon press. I like that picture.
Yeah, hold on a minute. So I have some really cool stuff I want to share with you. And the first thing I want to talk about is the difference between state and federal FOIA requests, because a lot of people just call everything FOIA, and that's not how it works. So you've got the federal information, which is totally separate from state. And this is another issue I have with a lot of auditors and cop watchers, is they'll cite federal law in a state case, and they just look ridiculous to the judge. But let me just really quick, I want to just share something with you guys. I'm just switching over to let me find it. I did some research over here.
Crispy bacon press. I love it. He's got a BCNN press pass. I think I'm going to have to get him a press pass from the sister station, BZWD News.
Yeah.
Because that's our sister station. We're like the redheaded stepchildren of the news.
I like that. I like redheaded stepchildren of the news.
We're not first in the business like BCNN, but we're striving to be number one at number 2.
All right. I like that. So let me know if you can see the screen. Are you able to see that?
Yeah, it's I mean, you got like half the screen there, but
it's kind of crummy.
Yeah, well, somewhat. I mean, there you go. There you go. You
Let me
got
see
it
if
right
I
there.
can open this up. So I'm going to be honest with you. I did a little bit of research on ChatGPT, but so just ignore the fact that it's AI stuff, because I'm going to narrate to you the reality of what's going on here. I don't rely.
The machines are taking over.
I rely on most of the things they say, but this is a pretty good breakdown. So I just want to make sure everybody can see this. So give me a bunch of ones if you can see what I'm trying to show you.
Dude, OTVO, I haven't slept with Ming Ling, but I'm still getting those massages from her. Woo!
All right. All right, guys. So hopefully you... Jeez. It's been a while, guys. All right. So basically you have two different types of... what the heck? Things never work the way you want them to when you want them to. So
what the F, over?
What's that?
I said, what the fudge, over?
What the fudge, over? Sir, sir. Here we go. All right. Hopefully you guys can see that. So the difference between Freedom of Information Act and Texas State Records Request lies primarily in their scope, jurisdiction, and procedural specifics. So basically, just in a nutshell, guys, because I don't want to go through all this stuff, and there's just so many superfluous words and phrases in these crazy chat GPT things. But the bottom line is FOIA is federal. The state records requests are state. They're two separate countries, two separate jurisdictions. So stop calling everything a FOIA, because you sound dumb. And in this case, because BZ is in Texas, we're going to talk about Texas records requests. And this pertains to accessing records held by state and local government agencies within the state of Texas. So if you're going to be trying to get records from an administrative agency, say in Galveston, that's going to be a city or county type records request. But the administrative rules in conducting that request are going to be governed under state law, and that is how you would request that information. And it's called the Texas Public Information Act. All right. And then FOIA, under FOIA, you request records from a federal agency. And typically you request the records from the agency that you're dealing with directly, not one in far off La La Land. Now, and I'm going to show you maybe an example today with BZ where he had some issues with a local agency, and it looks like we found by doing a request with the mother agency in DC, we may have found their copper plates, their printing press plates that they use for all of their dunning letters and meetings from the main office. So sometimes you get lucky. Now, procedural specifics, FOIA, again, it's to the federal agency. They're supposed to respond within 20 days. Typically, they respond with a bunch of objections, and they'll say they're working on it, or a reasonable facsimile thereof. Texas state records are similar, but again, it's going to be under TPIA. And I really encourage you to deal with, let me just get through this really quick, but BZWatchdog on this, because I'm working closely with him to try to help people, because I don't have a lot of time, guys. I have a regular job too. But I think it's really important that people hold the government, especially public servants, accountable when they have so much power. I mean, literally, a prosecutor could destroy your whole business and family if he disagrees with you politically. So you need to think about that. So let's go ahead and get out of that one. Let me see what else we got, guys, ladies and gents, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody have any questions so far? Anybody got any questions for me?
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Ladies and germs. So if anybody, so BZ, is that a pretty fair statement so far? Do I sound like I'm on point there?
Mostly. I haven't requested anything from the state yet. Everything's been lower local municipalities. So I mean, just so that's why, on this little slideshow right here that I created, I just put a public information request because I didn't want to get jurisdiction or agency specific.
Yeah.
Just, you know, a public information request is just basically anything lower than federal. And you know, FOIA is basically what it says. It's a Freedom of Information Act. It's a federal request through the federal government.
So now, was this because it was post office, so that would make it more federal? Is that
actually, the post office does lie under the federal?
Okay.
So it actually even says on there, if you go to the, I think it's the next slide, or the right there. So if you notice right there, it actually, no, go back one. See, I have the link right there where it says FOIA, PAL. So it's definitely a FOIA request through the post office. It's federal.
Oh yeah, got it. Yep.
That's the actual. By the way, guys, that right there, that link that he's got displayed, that's actually, if you actually copy that web address down. I don't know. I don't think you can copy and paste because it's in a video and slideshow.
I'm going to drop it in the sidebar. Hold on.
If you can drop that, that is actually the link to where you can go and register and create an account to the post office, do a FOIA request, and then after you create it, then you would just sign in.
Yeah, that's pretty badass, bro. Good work.
I made sure that everybody had access because there's a lot of stuff you can get at the post office.
Yeah. All right, let me just scroll down a little bit.
So this slide right here that I have, this just shows it's like your portal. So it shows you everything that you've submitted and everything that is obviously like pending and request. If you can see on the side here, like how it says assigned for processing.
Yeah.
Well, let me go back to the one. See, closed. The first one that says closed down at the bottom. That's the one I did the FOIA on when I got that memo on First Amendment auditors.
This one?
No, that's the one we did last week or whatever on the memo on First Amendment auditors. That's that one we originally did. Go back though. Go back.
Go up.
I wasn't done explaining that first right there. Go back down. Go back to I want to show everybody that one right there. That slide right there. Okay, so on this one, if you notice, so at the very bottom of that thing, it says closed, where they basically finished my FOIA request and went ahead and sent me the memo on First Amendment auditors. Then the second one it got denied because I wasn't very specific on what I was looking for. I was trying to do like a region in Texas for just a list of certain things. And they said it was just too much criteria, blah, 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 blah. So basically I went and said I requested the actual document at this jurisdiction for these dates. And I did it with 4 different agencies. I was asking for an extra jurisdictional agreement, contract or agreement with the post office. And for each, I did 2 local municipalities along with 2 county agencies, and I got all requests back today, and they say assigned for processing. So they've actually transferred those FOIAs to the area in DFW. I guess Texas is divided into 3 areas for FOIAs for the post office. They have S1, S2, and S3. S1 is up here in DFW. So I talked to the lady today. So they're now working on my request. And I said it was 10 business days, right? She said, no, federal is 20 business days. So when Michael showed you guys the 20 business days for the FOIA response, that's on a federal level. That's not on a public information request at a local. In the state of Texas, they have 10 business days for all the lower agencies. So
okay, so when you say lower agencies, I just want to make sure that we're on the same page here. So there's state and federal. If you're requesting something through the post office, that will be federal. If you're requesting something from like a municipal corporation, a city, a county, that's going to be covered under this other law that we discussed earlier.
Everything from the state of Texas and lower is 10 business days. That's what the Attorney General has set for all public information requests in the state of Texas.
Okay, so it sounds like state records requests are a 10-day time period, but keep in mind, guys, don't be dissuaded is BZWatchdog is also seeing. Sometimes you'll get some dodgy looking responses where they won't be totally forthcoming, but that doesn't mean that you won't get what you want eventually. It's just that they're hemming and hawing because they're buried and they don't have the budget. So they'll come up with a bunch of excuses. But if you stay after the task and you narrow down your requests, typically you'll get an objection that your requests are overly broad, that they're vague, they're ambiguous, it's too much information. You have to narrowly tailor your requests. And we'll get into that in another episode because we don't have a lot of time. But we'll talk about creating narrowly tailored FOIA requests as well as state records requests, because I recommend you do both at the same time. For example, if you're dealing with a local law enforcement agency trying to enforce federal regulations at the post office, and this is an issue that Basil and I are doing extensive research on. Basil has shown us in one of our other episodes that right on the post office, behind that piece of glass, it says right there that you're allowed to film in there.
Poster 7, baby. Poster 7.
Poster 7. But to this day, like the frauditors and all these people say, oh no, you're not allowed to film. It's not real. It's not a public forum. And that's the end of your inquiry. That's what they'll say. It's not a public forum. Yeah.
And Mike, I've actually even gone a step further than that before I did that memo on the First Amendment. So before I did my one big audit with Texas Gal Audits that I posted on my channel, I actually called the postal inspection office after I visited because I couldn't get a hold of anybody, and talked to the chief postal inspector of the DFW area. And I asked these questions. I said, are we allowed to take photographs and video on postal property? They said yes. They're the only ones that can investigate a crime on postal property. So according to their rules, according to their law enforcement agency, it is perfectly legal. It is perfectly a First Amendment protected right to do so. Okay? So with that being said, I went ahead and said, well, what happens if we run into this problem with local law enforcement that does not have jurisdiction because the postal workers freak out and call the law enforcement agency to have us come whisk away to the dungeon instead of actually calling you guys? And I have a phone number, and I was told to tell them to call option 2. Postmaster, installation head, and the postmaster general are the only 3 that work at the post office that should be calling any kind of law enforcement agency and should be calling the postal inspection office first. Now, if they do happen to have law enforcement of police show up, the police are supposed to call that same number, dial the same option, put in their zip code, and talk to a postal inspector, and it'll clear it right up. Problem is, what happens when we get a local law enforcement that shows up and just automatically assumes their investigation is complete without even talking to us or talking to the plaintiff, or I should say the complainant. But outside of that, the post office should not be harassing anybody whatsoever, according to the memo, according to Poster 7. And so now I'm doing some other work with these FOIAs. Back to you, Johnny.
So guys, you'll see a lot of the people parroting stuff from the frauditor community that you're not allowed to film in the post office because it's not a quote unquote public forum. And I don't want to get into how it's going to be characterized, but it's a public building. And unless there are designated areas that are private, there is a free speech interest and a press interest especially because it's our mails, to allow news stories and allow people to report. And there is no requirement that it's government approved news. I mean, these for-profit media corporations are, in my opinion, are the least valuable source of news there is. And independent journalists are something that we lack in this country and that we need greatly, because people have been brainwashed to think that unless it's from the official source, it's fake news. And that's just wrong. That's ridiculous. That's Orwellian in thinking. And when you have that happening, you'll have people say, hey, you're not allowed to film. It's not a public forum. And that's just not how it works. There are reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions. Yes, that is true. But as long as you're not disrupting someone, as long as you're not causing trouble at the post office, go ahead, talk to me.
Hey, not the end of freedom. Do me a favor. Please reach out to me at BZWatchdog@gmail.com. I'm going to go ahead and put that in the chat. Email me that link to that video so I can take a look at it and Mike can take a look at it. Again, it's not legal advice, but we just want to take a look at it and see what kind of outlook or what you probably should do or get in touch with, or what kind of avenue you might have available as a cop watcher recording a traffic stop. There are some things, and you got to be careful of Pennsylvania because I heard they've got some pretty strict rules, but I'll be more than happy to research your video and take a look at it and kind of get with Michael and see what we can do. Oh, okay. What's it titled? Not the end of the freedom. What's it titled so I can take a look at it? And right, Brick Jonesy, always record everything. I even recorded an a-hole the other day that parked in a Tesla spot. I just haven't posted the video because I don't know if I want to put that old man on blast. You could tell he was definitely a Trump supporter.
So guys, so what we have right now is we have postal workers who fly off the handle and start attacking these people who are photographing. Whereas if they had a hidden camera, it wouldn't be a problem. But right. Because there's a camera, that seems provocative to many of these people. And they go bananas and they attack the auditors, and the auditors are suing, obviously. And they're basically exercising a protected First Amendment activity unless they're being overly disruptive or they're causing some kind of problem. And so I just want all of you people to understand something. Showing up with a camera and filming, if other people get upset about that, that's not really your problem as a matter of law. You have the right to be there. You're not causing the disruption. It's their ignorance and understanding your rights and your freedoms and respecting the constitutional republic. That's the problem, because the rights of the individual matter most in a constitutional republic. And that's why we have a Bill of Rights, and that's supposedly going to bind the courts and the executive branch by the chains of the Constitution. But that's not what generally happens. But we can hold them to account because we still have those rights. And one of the ways you do that is with these FOIA requests. Now, that's with the post office, but it could be a state agency as well.
Correct.
And so this episode is going to have to deal primarily with FOIA, because I don't have that much time, and neither does BZ, because he's out hustling doing all these audits and cop watcher videos that are getting like millions of views, and I got to do my thing. But we're going to get straight into FOIA and talk about how that works, because I believe that FOIA is very similar to the state type of information requests, but they'll have different procedural guidelines usually. Like FOIA, I think there's longer. And then keep in mind, guys, that when you get the requests, they will usually be vague or ambiguous or come with a bunch of objections. They'll say that you are overly broad. So one of the things that I would like you to learn is how to draft narrowly tailored requests. And when you do get partial responses or what you think are partial responses, we'll be able to teach you how to take those partial responses and boomerang them back into a new request that's more narrowly tailored and eventually get what you want. Go ahead, BZ.
Hey, just so you guys know, a lot of times they'll leave a point of contact or reference on these requests. I have called and actually talked to these people and said, why was my request declined? What is going on with my request? What do I need to put down? Do you know they actually tell you how to fix the FOIA and resubmit it? Or they tell you to respond to the email that they've sent you with the corrected information? Or if it's a smaller agency that just doesn't want to be bogged down with another request, they'll just fix it right there and then take care of it, and you'll see it in a day or two or whatever.
Yeah, sometimes they will do that, guys, but don't count on it. Always assume that they're going to argue that your request was overly broad and it wasn't narrowly tailored enough.
No. The reason I was mostly saying about the phone number there, call the people, find out exactly what's wrong with the request, and so you can fix it and find out what you're looking for. Big Willie doesn't watch my stuff, man. I'm hurt. I'm as hurt as the trolls, man.
That's funny.
My feelings hurt. Oh my God.
So my big battle is the battle with the uneven application of laws, because in a republic we're all individuals and we all have our own viewpoints, and when you have a mob mentality, one side can take over and step all over the rights of individuals. And so I have a real problem with the uneven application of law. And here's an example. If a CNN reporter had shown up at the same area where Chili was, in that gas station that night, in the video we did the other night, the fundraiser that we did on the Delete Laws channel, nothing would have happened. The cops would have just gone along their day and drank their coffee or whatever. But because it was Chili and he's aggressive in his appearance, the way he moves, his movements, and he looks pretty, I mean, the guy's in shape, you know, like he could potentially be a threat. So they focus on him, but he's doing the same job, or actually a better job than regular reporters, because he's actually gauging our public servants and how they'll respond. And the idea is, if we have public servants out there, guys, you're going to have people out there like your crazy uncle or your crazy aunt, somebody going through menopause, some kind of hormone problem, maybe a brain injury, which I'm a brain injury lawyer. And I'm telling you right now, they cannot sometimes control their emotions. And when you have cops beating the crap out of them because they're not properly trained, they don't have the right guidance, they really hurt people. And if you've been a mother or a father, that you don't want that to happen. So the uneven application of the law is what I want to focus on here, guys. And in this case, when they unevenly apply the law, you can use FOIA to prove that they lied or prove that they violated their own rules to try and discriminate against you and violate equal protection, because they're treating you differently than someone else based upon your political viewpoint of wanting to hold, because they think that's a political viewpoint. Trying to hold the government accountable now apparently means you're a potential domestic violent extremist, according to the March 4th report from Congress. So that's a real problem. And so back to Chili. Chili, for example, when he got locked up, it deprived him of the ability to do records requests, do research, and build his own case. And that's another little trick that they'll use, is if you are locked up, it's very difficult. And if you're locked in solitary, there's no way you can prepare for your case. You get out and you're just like in shock. There's no way you're going to be able to prepare a case. And so public records requests are awesome, because now we can look at, we can build statistical flowcharts and graphs to show the uneven application of laws. We can correlate that with people like Chili, who are like freedom fighters, political people. And we can show that there's deliberate deliberate persecution. And we can try to build Monell claims. And so Monell claims are those civil rights claims that show a pattern in practice. And so it's really, really important that you pay attention to these things if you're truly wanting to stand for your rights and for the rights of your family. FOIA requests and public records requests are super, super, super important. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back up on the screen and go ahead and narrate for me.
Oh, you can scroll down. We're pretty much done with that one. So right. just to let you guys know, this is my actually this is my response from today. Okay. I asked for the extra-jurisdictional contract and agreement between the United States Postal Service and Duncanville, Texas Police Department for any kind of call for police services. And believe it or not, they forwarded my FOIA to, like I said, the S1 North Texas
Trellis
does the records.
This one here, Trellis Magdalena, Consumer and Industry Contact.
That's actually the person I spoke to.
Okay. So it looks so basically what you did is you did a public records request to the USPS. They responded on the 26th
with
and
this, yeah.
Basically kind of kicked the can. I mean, that's kind of what it looks like. I am requesting.
Yeah, and you guys see, I had to zero up my address. I'm not going to sit there and publicize my address, because it does get they do send it with your ad, because you have to have a home of record. So I'm not putting any of my personal information. I don't need no trolls knocking on my door or sending me dead animals in the mail.
So just so I can lay a foundation for you, Basil, this is a response to a public records request where he asked for information.
This is a response to a FOIA.
Right, to a FOIA. This is a response to a request for information about extra jurisdictional agreements or contracts between the Texas Police Department of Duncanville and the USPS. And for calls of police services. And that was good that you did it that way too, because that makes it more narrowly tailored. Like now they can't see the argument that they'll make is that, oh, it's overly broad. And now we have to produce thousands of documents, you know, and that's going to be a burden on the state. And that's true, or the city or whatever it might be, federal government. So you have to be narrowly tailored to get what you really want to get. And what Basil did was really good by doing that, but they still kick the can and they put it to a different department, basically. So now that we know about this department, Basil, this is kind of cool, because now we know, and I want all you guys to learn this and pay close attention. Now that we know what the department that handles this, for all you future people, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. we know that for Texas, for this area, this is the person, so we can build a database and help each other out. And the idea is he's trying to find out about interjurisdictional agreements. Do you want to tell us what that is, Basil?
Yeah. So I think Ryan covered it on his live stream with us probably about a week or two ago, where there's the actual agreement or contract between the post office and the United States Postal Service at the local post office and the local police department municipality. The only people that can actually write and sign the agreement would be the postmaster, the installation head, which is their boss, and then the postmaster general, which is obviously the head of the post office. So those are the only three people that can sign an agreement for that post to the local agency to work that. So I'm thinking I try to make it an easy one because Duncanville only has one post office, but I also did one for Fort Worth, which has several post offices. So I don't know what else you want me to say there, Mike. I don't know what else you're asking there.
No, we're good. I just wanted people to sort of understand that what he's looking for is
now, if actually, you know what? If you look at poster 7, I don't know if you have a copy of poster 7 up there.
I don't have it up right now, but we did show it in one of our other videos.
Yeah, if you look at the bottom right-hand side of poster 7, it talks about who has like authorization in the post office. It talks about security personnel, the United States Postal Inspection Service, and how the only way that local law enforcement can get involved is if there is an agreement signed by the postmaster, installation head, or postmaster general. So it says it right there.
All right. So
I'm trying to find that agreement because right now there's a case I'm investigating down here in Duncanville, Texas, with another auditor that was arrested in a post office by the Duncanville Police Department. I don't know if I'm getting specific. I don't know if she's here. But bottom line is she actually met with the chief of police the other day. And I can't really go into too many details on the actual conversation that I'm privy to right now. But, and Mike, you're going to laugh at this from a legal perspective because I haven't talked to you about this yet. When she asked how long her trespass was good for to a public forum with the only post office in Duncanville, and if she lives in Duncanville, and that's the only place she can go to pick up her mail. Yeah. I don't know how, first off, she can be trespassed from there.
Yeah.
Second, they tried to tell her it was a lifelong ban trespass, which I have never, everybody that we've talked to, nobody has ever heard of a lifelong ban. The longest I've ever heard is a 1-year trespass, providing you have a criminal trespass warning before you get arrested for it.
That makes sense because you want to have notice and opportunity. Notice and opportunity is a big deal, guys.
Now, the crazy thing is this person has called the postmaster and talked to the office, and they're doing one of these. If you're talking about passing the buck, I've got the best scenario for you. The post office is saying, you got to talk to the postmaster who had you trespassed. The postmaster is saying, well, you got to talk to Duncanville PD. Duncanville PD says somebody from the post office needs to call us.
Yeah.
So they're doing one of those numbers.
Yeah.
So we can't get a clarity on how long the trespass is, if the trespass is actually good, and if there actually is even a trespass. So from your legal perspective, not talking about the individual case, as far as in just a trespass in a public forum, how do you feel about that?
Well, I think that there'll be a dispute as to whether or not it's a quote unquote public forum. I would say that it is a my personal opinion is that it is a public building, and therefore it is public. And that if you're there for business, you absolutely are entitled to be there. And I believe that business should also be able to include news reporting. And I believe if you're not creating a disturbance, you have the right to be there. And poster 7 correlates and corresponds with that. And that is just an ancient principle under American common law, guys. If somebody was standing there and they were interfering, blocking, or something like that, that's a problem. But if people get upset and they attack the film crew didn't cause the disturbance. They should not be the ones getting arrested. And that's a big problem we have with law enforcement. Now, the other problem, Basil, is hey, Basil's disappearing.
No, I'm here. I'm doing a little recon magic.
It looked cool because you were kind of like morphing between the dog. I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. So, yeah, so the problem is you get into a position where you have the post office people saying, hey, you're not allowed to be here. This isn't a public forum. This isn't a place where you're allowed to film. And then the local law enforcement comes, and then they're trying to enforce the law. But local law enforcement generally is not trained in enforcing federal law. And so Basil is asking, he's pretty smart the way he's going about this, is whether or not there's a interjurisdictional or an interagency agreement between the federal and the state agencies, because if there is, the municipality, that's a lot of money for a city, like a small city, to pay that money to go and enforce a federal building regulations. So these cops all show up, they all got to get paid, and they got to have training because otherwise, I'm telling you, as a personal injury lawyer, it's a liability issue for the federal and the state, because they're allowing like an untrained podunk, Boss Hogg and his deputies to come on federal land armed, by the way, without permission to do that. And they're putting rounds down range, maybe in a federal facility, and vice versa. That's why the feds aren't driving around enforcing traffic infractions. They're not trained to do that. So go ahead, Basil. Go ahead.
The reason I'm doing all this, guys, is to help this individual. Okay. Because this person's still out on bond waiting for charges with no court date. But here's the thing, and stop me if I'm wrong, Mike, from a legal perspective.
Yeah.
If they don't have an extra jurisdictional agreement whatsoever with the post office, then they unlawfully kidnapped this person, and they were filming, which is legal, which means it's automatically a First Amendment violation, along with criminal charges. Am I right about the criminal charges? Because technically they had no jurisdiction if there's no agreement.
Well, I mean,
the fact that they violated First Amendment protected activity loses qualified immunity.
I think it's a stretch to say that it was criminal, because the police could say that they were there with permission.
There was no knowledge and intent. Yeah.
They could say they were there with permission, and that the feds wanted them there, and so it was an emergency, exigent circumstances. They'll argue an exception.
But here's the kicker. What if I told you this supervisor, who's a sergeant, who has FBI leader training from 5 years ago, because it has it on their public forum YouTube channel, also just recently, 6 months ago, got slapped with another 1983 lawsuit for violating someone's First Amendment rights? What would you say to that, Mike? That's a kicker.
I mean, I would have to look more at the totality of the circumstances
Oh,
Because
come on, you're getting too technical. This is slam dunk case all day long.
I can't assume that that I have to. Okay, so what I would like to do, I would like to look at interagency and interjurisdictional agreements, because what you don't want to do, like what Basil's doing. So Basil's on the right track. Okay, guys. And so the problem that I have with a lot of the people in the auditor community, or whatever they want to call it, I mean, it's just, to me, it's just people trying to stand up for their rights.
1A community, man. I don't like to be labeled 1A community.
Just the American Freedom Coalition, man. I mean, just people trying to stand up for their rights. Fighter, baby. We all have to come together on something. This is a good thing to come together on, holding public officials accountable. And so in this case, you have a situation where local law enforcement can come up to a post office and they have no right to be there unless there's some, well, allegedly, okay, this is what we have to figure out. Allegedly, they've got no right to be there unless there's an interjurisdictional agreement. But if there's not, look at the liability that they would face by having untrained local law enforcement officers. And look at the city budgets, how they would just get clobbered every time police have to respond, local police have to respond to the post office. They're not trained to be there. They're not supposed to be there. It's off their beats. It's just not a good thing for the local cops and the federal agencies. Are they going to reimburse them? I mean, think about all the problems that they're facing. These are municipal corporations, guys. It's all just business, right? And so these road pirates aren't going to be able to be out there raising revenue. Instead, they're spending money. And of course, they're upset. So how do they make up for it? Well, they arrest the guy with the camera, and now they can raise, money, right? Like the prison system gets their piece. The jail system gets their piece. The court system gets its piece, penalties, fines. A lawyer gets some money out of it. So that's how it works. You've got to, there's always pressure to make the arrest. And I don't care what anybody says. That's just the reality of the situation. Put it in the comments. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. There's always pressure to make arrests. And give me a bunch of twos if you think that police are supposed to do justice and try to be friends with people. Give me that one. Now, let me see here.
Hey, Mike, I'm just going to give you a heads up. I don't normally do this, but I did give everybody in the chat an attention because that troll was booted.
Okay, I didn't see anything, buddy. I
didn't see it. Everybody was defending me. That's what caught my attention. I went back up, and hey, just coming in and stirring everybody up. And there's a lot of important information people are trying to get here, and I don't have. You know what, man? I'm all about free speech, but what did I tell you? It gonna be when he's making racist comments towards Brick Jonesy. Come on, man. That's my Brody right there. And that was for you,
guys.
Brick Brody.
Basil's a moderator, so be nice, guys, because you're gonna end up doing push-ups. Get out of line.
Hey, you know what, man? Don't get me wrong. Look, I talk a lot of shit about cops when I'm on my live stream to the audience, but you know what? Until they sit there and disrespect me, I'm gonna treat them just as they treat me. If they leave me alone, I leave them alone. All I'm doing is there to document anything that I might see. Yeah. If somebody goes off on me, they're going to get it trifold. Have you ever had a pissed off Marine on your ass? It's not fun.
Yeah, I've had plenty. I'm glad I'm no longer in because, plenty of corporals.
Once a Marine, always a Marine. Don't forget it.
Yeah.
I still know how to play games.
You want to play games?
Oh, let these cops get their... Hey, you know what? If I was in Chili's position with Bork, I probably would have made Bork cry before he put his hands on me. Mind games and then the feeling games.
Oh, yeah. By the way, so guys, I wanted to share something with you. So
Don Austin said that troll was a cop. Yeah, well, he was definitely a bootlicking cop sucker. So
I'll have to go back and watch it, man. I was just getting into talking about all this stuff. I want to share with you.
Thanks, so guys, by the way, for coming to my defense. I didn't even know he was talking about that.
So, guys, I want to share this with you. Last night, I did a show on delete laws, and it was about an hour and 20 minutes or so, I guess. And we were able to raise 1,300 for Chili's second case. So what that's for is we're trying to figure out a way to get a good lawyer to get these charges thrown out by the prosecutor, because I don't believe if this was in California that this case should even have happened.
Sorry, so. I was laughing at OTVO's comment. You ought to put that one up on the screen and leave it.
Yeah, I'm going to put the link in here.
No, let's OTVO's comment between the two Chevy comments.
Oh, hold on a minute.
That one needs to stay up on the damn screen.
This one right here?
Yeah.
All right, guys. So look, I appreciate all you guys always coming out and hanging out with us. And it's been kind of rough, because I can see that the Delete Laws channel is not, what it was, because let's face it, it is chilly. So I'm trying to go on there at least once a week to do like updates from the dungeon kind of thing. And I have this cool idea, and I want to know what you guys think. Like, give me a bunch of ones if you think it's a good idea. That we have a BZWatchdog out in the field doing his recon missions, trying to chase down some cop watching. And
the Recon Ranger, baby, the Recon Ranger.
Yeah, we do reports, like live reports from the field, and we try to do a fundraiser for Chili's case number 2. For the crime tape one. I think it would be fun because one of the cool things about Chili's channel is that he's always out cruising around, walking around out in public, and people like that because people want to watch, and like feel like they're seeing a movie, and he's really good at that. But BZWatchdog does a great job too, and he always has a lot of comedy. It makes people laugh, so they're really fun. So give me a bunch of ones if you want us to do that. Okay, it looks like Texas Gal Audits wants us to do it. Hey, Texas Gal Audits, you should go along with them and film. You guys could have a blast. We could do like a live stream or something and have you guys come on, and you can chase people around with your cameras and stuff.
Oh, she does enough of that already. Let's just get her live.
Yeah. So let me see here. Okay, got it. So EVP Hunter says, yeah, let's do it. So does anybody have any questions about FOIA requests or Texas state record requests? Because
actually, let's scroll down to my public information request with the local police department so you guys can see that.
Stand by. Let me, can you see it?
Keep going. Scroll down. Yeah, scroll down.
Yeah, I'm trying. It looks like that's as far as...
you know what? I sent you that stuff in the email. Did you not add that to the slide last minute?
This is all I got.
Check your email.
So there's something else in my email, huh?
Oh yeah, I sent it right before we started. I thought you had time to throw the slide.
Well, what is the other thing that I'm looking for?
It's the local police department. It's similar, but it's a little bit different. It came a little bit differently to me.
Burleson PD open records request. That one?
Yes, sir. I think both those screenshots in there.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that the one where you have the request and the response?
The request, the response, and then the attachment right below is the cops information.
Hold on. I think I got it, buddy. I think I got them up on the screen.
I mean, they didn't even put the damn cops information on letterhead. They just put it on like a blank piece of paper.
Give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to find this thing. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I got you. So it's this is the actual response, right? It's
the information I requested. That's how I can't believe they didn't put it on letterhead or some sort of format or something.
So basically, just in your own words, tell us what the request said, and I'll dig it up and put it up on the screen. But since I've got this here,
yeah. So on the here, let me go so I can reference this right here. So it basically says obviously to me, the city of Burleson, Texas Police Department received a public information request from you on April 25th, 2024. Your request mentioned, and this is in bold because this is exactly what I typed. I am requesting the officer's name and badge number, comma, position title, comma, rank, comma, rank, salary, comma, it's been a long day, start date and number of complaints since starting with Burleson Police Department that conducted this traffic stop in search of this vehicle stop. Now, just to let you know, they did send me a response back because I put a location, which was accurate, but the time frame I was given by the person that took the video was off by like an hour and a half or something like that. So when they notified me, I called them back on the phone. And at the same time, I was doing a reply to their email. And I got a hold of the same person, and they said, "Yeah, we just got your email. We got the time. We'll get back to you on the new time slot. And then that was yesterday or this morning. And then I got this back this afternoon. And then the attachment that they sent with that email was this document that you see on the screen now.
Got it.
And it wasn't really much of a document. It was more like they took a spreadsheet and just copied and pasted from the spreadsheet.
Okay. I'm trying right now to find the request now. Just give me a second. Thanks for narrating that for us.
Hey, do me a favor. Check your other email right before it then, maybe.
Yeah, hold on. I think I've got it. I've just got to get it up on the screen. Give me 1 second, guys.
And if you guys want Michael Eline's email, I'll give you all of them. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that.
Here we go.
There it is.
Yeah. Let me open this up for you guys. Tell me, can you see this okay, Basil?
You need now I can. Now that you got it all blown up there.
All right. So this is your request to Burleson, Texas Public Records Center. And that's up here in the top. And then this is their response. You want to go ahead and narrate this for us?
Yeah, I just did. I just read it.
Yeah.
Everything I read I was reading it from my email because you couldn't find it on the screen. So
right. So there it is. And so he's got 4 complaints against him that we know of. And hold on a second. So this guy. So that's pretty interesting. So you did because this is city, this was a Texas state administrative sort of an act where you're doing a state public records request. And I think you mentioned earlier they have 10 days instead of 20, correct?
That's correct. The local, every state is different.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's every attorney general, the state attorney general is the one that dictates the amount of time, or it may be the law writers and he just is the one that enforces it. I really haven't really looked into who actually set the time frame. I just know that the attorney general. Yeah, guys, I already did, guys. I already zap. So that zap is out of here. Basically, the attorney general, if you don't get the request within 10 business days, because I had to do this with Fort Worth PD because they didn't respond. I called the attorney general office and they lit the fire under Fort Worth PD's ass, and I literally had an answer within 24 hours. So they don't answer. Call your local state attorney general. Again, every state is different on the time frame, and it's business days, not just days. It's they got to give them basically like 5 business days. Yeah, a whole week basically. So
that's pretty impressive, though. That so guys, this is somebody. So this is what really made me angry when I wanted to become a lawyer. I was doing paralegal and law clerking type work, and I could see that there were many holes in these lawyers' games. They just didn't know what they were doing to a large degree. And it really kind of made me upset, and not even lawyers know how to do this kind of stuff. So what Basil is doing here is it's very high level and advanced stuff because no one ever does it. So there's few people do it. Maybe Tom Fitton, a couple of advocacy groups that actually do public records requests that are good at it. And if we can form groups like mastermind groups, we can hold our public officials accountable the way that the old school journalists used to back in the old days, right? When we had real investigative journalism. And so what we're doing really is we're just carrying the torch forward of the traditional underdog investigative journalism. And Basil has these really awesome tools. And I just want everybody to be cloaked with the Bill of Rights and to know their rights, know how to exercise them and not get arrested. And so that's another reason why I always want you to go to BZWatchdog.
Can I say something, Mike?
Yeah, bro.
Okay, look. So guys, I'm out there hustling and bustling. I mean, I know some of you guys follow me. Let me just give you a little bit of what I've got to say because I know we don't have much time here. For those of you who don't know, I drive for Uber full time. I also have an online business. You can see right here, tapsecurityproducts.com. It's actually one of my work shirts. I'm out there driving, doing all kinds of work with passengers all day. I'm making phone calls, submitting FOIA requests when I'm in between rides or when I'm charging the Tesla, which, by the way, has 8 cameras on. And I'll tell you right now, no cop likes to mess with a Tesla. None. The only way you ever see a Tesla on the side of the road with the police is when they've been involved in an accident. That is it. And it's because it's open, closed, shut because of the camera footage. But I'm out there filming these guys. They don't harass me because I'm in the Tesla. The ones that do want to say something, I put them on blast. As you guys saw my short video yesterday, it's already got 12,000 views in less than like 12 hours. But I'm out there making all these phone calls. I'm doing these things behind the scenes. I'm calling other auditors, other cop watchers. I'm getting video. I'm making phone calls and making complaints verbally to police departments and redressing my government. Kind of like what Chili did on live streams when he would call and be pissed off about a video. I'm kind of doing things like that, but I'm recording them. I've got some of those that I'm editing, and I'm waiting on public information requests about the officers and more stuff before I finish putting that video out. So I've got a lot of stuff coming. But there's a lot of moving parts with what I do. So, and I'm talking to people on here. You guys are sending me links. Like I just got another email. I had someone else been having people text me all throughout this live stream. So that's why when you guys see my hands moving, it's because I'm either texting, answering stuff, trying to pay attention to the chat, moderating. I usually get about 5 hours of sleep a night. So I just want to let you guys know that there's a lot of moving parts with what I do. So I apologize if you guys don't always see a video. I'm not always on a live stream. I try to get to your emails right away. I try to get to your text messages if you have my number, because I've been dealing with you and trying to help you do certain things. Because I do help people get public information requests, or, like another auditor was asking me what I should ask for or what I should do, and I've kind of walked them through it. So I'm not afraid to help anybody. I'm always willing to help someone. All you have to do is do a little bit of work and send me an email. And whether I send you to the right place or I help you do it on my end, I'll be more than happy to do that. But like I said, guys, I got a lot of moving parts, and I got a lot of people behind the scenes actually helping me with information, legal advice, donors. I got people donating stuff to me to help me with the cause. And there's some things that Mike kind of knows what we're getting ready to do with a couple things on a couple of auditors here in Fort Worth. I just don't want to. It's kind of going to be a clandestine thing for like the next month or two. But there's really some good stuff between me and 2 other auditors, between comp watching and auditing, coming soon. I just can't put that information out right this second because I don't want these cops to know our tactics before we do it. So with that being said, I'm going to pass right back on over to you, Mike, because I was thinking you were pretty much going to wrap that up. So
yeah. So, that was pretty much it. So you've gotten the flavor. So it's not just FOIA, it's state. And FOIA is going to be on a federal situation where you might be at a post office, military base, but typically it's post office because that's where most of the auditing is going on right now.
Yeah, it's pretty easy, man. It's pretty easy.
Yeah. Pretty much anywhere in DC is going to be probably a federal situation. But so that would be a FOIA request, but everything else is going to be handled under some sort of an administrative action that your state government is going to have codified somewhere. And in this case, I showed you earlier that Texas has its own version of FOIA, basically. But as BZ said, you have 10 days instead of 20 days, or they have the responding party. The respondent has 10 days in state and 20 days in federal. But again, when they do respond, sometimes it is nonsensical, and that generally will buy them additional time, because as long as they respond, that's what matters. And as long as the response appears to be in good faith, you have the ability to move for court action if necessary. But typically the way you resolve it is you try to confer and narrow your request until such time as they provide you, or you give them the time, they bought enough time to get you what they already know that you probably want. So it is a little bit of a dance sometimes. And a lot of auditors and cop watchers and people who aren't lawyers can get frustrated. But in actuality, when you get these letters back, like the letter that Basil got, it allows you to narrow the request, because now you know that there's another person, another agency, another branch of people that you can now focus a records request on. All records from this particular person and this agency from this particular time on this particular issue from this particular period on this particular tiny little topic, the more narrow you are, the harder it is for them to wiggle out. So sometimes by them giving these evasive responses, you can actually really narrow something and have a really great request that really gets you what you want. And typically you'll find that a lot of the stuff that they're doing is just absurd. It's unenforceable. And I'll tell you something, if they knowingly don't have these interagency agreements, they knowingly don't have proper training, because now these interagency agreements, these are really interesting. In one of the videos we did, BZ, I'll have to put the link in the description. One of the videos we did sort of showed, like, look, they have these huge contracts that are like, what, 20 or 30 pages? Like when they have
I would say they could be anywhere from maybe 8 pages at minimum up to 50 pages, depending on how big the agency is.
That's wild, man. So, and in there it spells out, you know, the extent of liability, the training that any of the officers have with respect to these particular things, any type of insurance or, you know, self-insurance, overlap coverage. Remember, this is a municipal corporation. There's a mayor. There's usually a sheriff if it's a small town, and they're sending their guys out there to enforce on a federal enclave. And so it's all federal, and it's a foreign country, and they're in there, and they really don't have the training to be there. And what are they making the arrest for? Is it for a local violation of a local statute? Because they're not jurisdictionally, they can't do that. I mean, as a criminal defense attorney, I would demur to that and say, look, you didn't have the authority to make the arrest under a local statute. It would have had to have been done under a federal trespass or whatever the law might be. That's what I would argue. I'm not saying that the court would go along with it, but it certainly seems to be a valid argument. Jurisdiction would be a pretty valid argument. What do you think, BZ?
Well, what I did was Texas Gal Audits was doing a little cop watching this week. I have a problem with one of these videos. This is why I'm doing a heavy public information request for Burleson PD. And I've already got the officer's information. That's what that request that I got back today was. I want you guys to check out that video. She took it. There's a lot of problems I see with that traffic stop, is why I am now doing well, she already had an incident 2 days, 3 days prior about an unprofessional cop making a comment, is why I started messing with Burleson PD. But then she sent me this like the next day or 2 days later. And I even had a bigger problem with this than the unprofessionalism. So I'm now literally making it a mission, Operation Burleson. I am, and just to let you guys know, and like I said, the video that I've got that I'm editing, I'm waiting on some more information. I'm still editing, but it is going to be on the Burleson PD, on that phone call that I've already recorded and edited the video. So you guys are going to hear a phone call that I made to redress my grievances. Now, I don't know if this is true fact, but this is what I'm finding out, is as long as you call a non-emergency phone number to any agency that you call and want to complain about something, which is basically redressing your grievances, as long as you don't give your name, your number, your address, and agree to have someone reach back out to you, they typically don't answer, or they don't hang up on you. So you sit there and hold as long as you want. Someone's got to eventually answer that phone call. This is what I've been finding out. This is a new tactic that somebody had told me about. I don't know really what the legality of it is because I haven't found anything, but it seems to work. From his voice, from his recordings to what I did, it doesn't seem like I'm breaking the law or doing anything wrong. They've been hearing me out, so they haven't hung up on me yet. And I'd like to actually bring this person on to your channel, Mike, and kind of maybe play a phone call or two and show what kind of success he's been having with doing these phone calls, because he can't get out there like we do with the cop watching and the auditing, due to certain things. That's not my business to put out, but he can't get out there and do what I do where he lives. So the best thing he can do is call in and redress his government. So, and that's what he's doing. I'm kind of doing it. It's a new thing, but I recorded mine, not just on audio, but on video. So you can see my facial reactions when I'm asking and answering and responding to these, this conversation. So that's coming in the weeks down the road.
So what we'll do is we'll get the regulations, we'll get the rules that are so well hidden, and we'll try to put the puzzle pieces together to find out, more about what your rights really are, because we already know what they are, but we'll prove to everyone else what we already knew. In my opinion, that's what's going to happen. And I think it's really important that people understand that, we're a republic and the rights of the individual are what matter. And if you're wanting to go into a post office and film, you have the right to do that. And I encourage you to look at the difference. If you've ever do a test, look and see if you want. If you go in there with a camera and you hold it and you're got it up, or you just have a hidden camera and you stand in the corner and see what happens. Right? What do you think, BZ? Probably nothing's going to happen to the guy.
Well, it depends. Actually, I'm finding that the more people you bring with cameras, the more of a reaction you're going to get. Now, just keep in mind, there's always strength in numbers, but there's always more responses in numbers. I've gone into all these post offices and police station and transportation centers by myself, and nothing's happened. I bring along a little female that's like a little piece of bait. I always tell them I'm going to use her for clickbait and then some. Dangle that little bait on the hook, and sure enough, I turned my back for 2 minutes, and not only did one person confront her and attack her, but a second person is confronting her. And you can go to my channel and see that audit. It's for the one where it says the auditor gives double the birds. So so guys, go check out that video. There's a little bit of static from time to time on that video, but it's actually a good audit, good video.
Do you know BZ? Do you know about Audit Them?
Yeah, I know Audit Them. He's doing a different, and it's not a FOIA, by the way, guys. It's a public request that he's doing at the county. That's what he mostly does, is county courthouses. There's certain things that he's looking for. So, like, his little expertise is digging for certain documents that are supposed to be displayed, like in the county courthouses and the clerk's office and the tax assessor's office and things like that. So he knows he's doing the same thing. It's like when everybody starts out, we all just do post office.
Yeah.
That's what he just primarily does. So he does these public information requests. He puts out a good story, but like I said, he has one little, I guess you could say, niche that he kind of sticks with. I'm trying to be broad everywhere I go, try every tactic, undercover and obvious, recon and in your face, public buildings and public sidewalks, to even, exercising all of your First Amendment rights, not just press and speech, protesting and redressing your government. I'm going balls to the wall, 1A. I'm not just holding a camera and speaking the words that come out of my mouth and hope I get clicks. I'm a freedom fighter. I'm going balls to the wall, and I'm going to exercise all my First Amendment rights. Yeah. And I hope that I don't become a political prisoner like our friend Chili. And I hope that maybe I can change the way we audit to getting better results. And back to you, Johnny.
Well, I think that here's the deal. Has something to say here. Sadly, the Scarecrow only received an award because he was outstanding in his field. And then I have, if anybody has anything to say about that, I just want to give everybody an opportunity. Looks like
Yeah, if anybody's got any comments or questions, feel free. This is the time because we're almost done. We're almost out of time.
Yeah, I just, I really just wanted to talk about to you guys a little bit about the Freedom of Information Act and how it can be properly used as a shield to protect your rights, and sometimes as a weapon when your rights are being attacked and you need to fight back to secure them. And that I recommend that you don't get dissuaded or allow yourself to succumb to feelings of defeat when you are getting these nonsensical responses from these administrative agencies. What you need to do is you need to double down and look at their responses and narrow. And the more narrow you make, redo your request, update, amend your request to be more narrowly tailored. And the more narrowly tailored you are, the easier it will be for you to get what you want, the easier it will be for them, so they don't feel like they have to give you millions of documents. And also if you have to take court action. So this is something that a lot of auditors don't understand, is that if you are unable to follow up and take the necessary court action, there's really not a lot that can be done. So if they just refuse to give you stuff, well, that means you've got to go to the next level and start filing a lawsuit to enforce. And that is why guys like Tom Fitton and a few other organizations have been successful, but not a lot of people have been successful. So hold on.
Chug it. What are you doing?
Yeah. If you want to be successful and prove and get what you want, I hate to say it, it's better to be a lawyer, BZ, just to have the credential of law firm on the letterhead. It really does help a lot, because I do believe that people know, especially if you're from a reputable, like, nonprofit that does this for a living, that they're going to be in for a lot of trouble, and lawsuits are expensive. You file a lawsuit to enforce your FOIA request or your local records request, whatever it might be, and it becomes expensive. You've got to get lawyers involved, and if you screw up, you might get hit with attorney's fees. It can become a nightmare. So the First Amendment's no joke, guys. And this big post office thing, this big stink with all these auditors, Basil, it really bothers me. And so, yeah, hold on. So Basil, the big problem that I have is there's this big battle. Oh no, you can't be in the post office at all. It's a restricted area. Oh, you can't be anywhere.
Can I say something to that comment? It was me and the other auditor that was having an issue. We noticed kind of a pattern. It wasn't just discrimination of holding a camera. It seems to be a complete also discrimination of a race factor from, I would say, a coincidence of 1 or 2 places, but when it's 4 and 5 places,
yeah,
it seems to be the same culture and the same problem and the same, almost like the same exact verbiage. So, so I don't think it's just a First Amendment right violation among the post office. I also think it's a 14th Amendment violation of equal rights.
Yeah, you'd think so, right? Because they're arbitrary in the way that they treat requests. If you're CNN, they're going to give you what you want right away. But if you're a public auditor or just somebody trying to exercise your rights, they see you as a small fry. At least that's what I hear a lot. I don't know if it's always the case, but I hear that a lot.
Well, I'm talking about a race thing. I'm not even talking about.
Oh, right.
I just didn't want to point out exactly, but it seemed to be these employees are of this color. This auditor is this color holding a camera. These people act the same way and say the same thing every time, instead of following the memo and the protocols.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And I've heard definitely that a lot of postal employees, they don't like being filmed, and they'll immediately just start attacking the people with the cameras. And that could be a reason why they're putting that memo out. Is that kind of what you're saying?
No, I'm talking about an additional, I'm talking about discrimination of race on top of
Okay.
First Amendment discrimination. Like if it was the same person of color going in there, I don't think it would be that big of a deal. But I think because it's a certain, it might even be down to sex, gender that maybe, but I can't prove that. All I can say is from what I've seen, it's definitely possibly a race discrimination along with a First Amendment right violation.
Well, that would be terrible if that was going on, because, I thought we made so much strides since the 60s and stuff.
Happens everywhere, man. I tell you what, in my profession, as a car salesman in 2012, I was told that they didn't want me as their salesman because I was a certain person of color of skin. So,
well, that's crazy. That's not right.
And that was in Texas. So I didn't get offended because, you got to put on that hat of being friendly and professional. And I got them somebody else. Not a big deal. I still got half of their money in the commission when I was all done. So money's money. I don't discriminate when it comes to that green.
We got to support our families, but a lot of us are activists and we care about our country, and as do you, of course.
Of course.
And that's why you're here. And we really do want to make positive change for our children and the youth, and holding our governments accountable, especially local, state governments accountable, is super, super important. And it teaches civics to our own kids. They see that their parents are active, trying to make sure that their tax dollars are being spent wisely. We're seeing so many government officials get into politics with no money and coming out like multimillionaires, and that's just not appropriate. You should be getting into public service because you want to serve the public, not because you get insider stock tips and you can claim that you're not really getting insider stock tips. It's ridiculous. What do you think about that, DZ? I mean, I've heard that there's a law that they can't get insider stock tips, right? But there's a website that tracks all the congressmen and senators, and if you join it, you can make all their same investments, and everybody that does it's getting rich. So how could that be?
All that insider trading thing is just any reason to go ahead and call you out and arrest you if they don't like you. That's all it is. So if you're a rich guy and you piss off the other rich powerhouses, off to the dungeon you go. It's probably sitting in the same cell with Chili.
So what you're saying is if you piss off your masters in the government or vice versa, that's the default. They can lock you away.
Oh yeah.
But other than that, you can just do whatever you want.
Because think about it. Look. We look at the stock market and all these rich, high tycoon moguls and stuff, and all these investments where they keep making money. They don't have a crystal ball. Where are they getting the information from?
Man, I don't know.
But if you piss off somebody in the government or piss off your rich friend that turns you into the government, bye.
Yeah.
So
that is true.
Why do you think everybody loves Oprah?
Why?
Well, nobody's turned her in. I'm sure she's got some insider trading going on somewhere.
So, yeah, that's true. Right. If everybody is involved, they're not going to want to. Yeah.
You get a car. You get a car. You get a car. So I don't go to jail.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And in this case, you just have. I mean, the memo from the last video. I don't have it up on the screen, but he showed us this post office official memo or whatever that basically said that people who are there in the post office are there to cause trouble if they're filming, and that they're basically, they're just full of it. They're crazy and just call the police. Basically, is that kind of a fair statement? Like it was just characterizing people who are filming as crazy people, and right, like they're nuts and don't do anything except call the cops. Is that about right, Basil?
Pretty much. Nowadays, and I talked to a lady today that didn't even want to. Her and her husband got into it, and she didn't want to call the cops, and he did, and then he lied about putting hands on, and next thing you know, she's spending 3 days in the dungeon, and the lady's got her house, her cars in her name, and all this stuff, and I hate to say it, but I gave her some legal advice. I told her, be the first one to go ahead and file the divorce, keep all your stuff, report your cars stolen so he can't drive them, and give him a 30-day eviction and move him out. But again, I can be vindictive, guys. I don't like a man putting his hands on a woman and then turn around line and say that she did it, just to lock her up for 3 days. But yeah, all you do is call the cops when you get mad. The cops come, somebody's going to jail, and it's usually the wrong person. I'm going to tell you that right now. They're not doing their job like they used to 20 years ago. They're not actually investigating, doing their due diligence to make sure the right person's going in the police car if they do show up. And like Chili says all the time, why does somebody have to go to jail? I thought they were peacekeepers. Can't they just keep the peace and try to resolve something without somebody getting those torture cuffs on? But you know, it's actually kind of there's a funny statement I made on one of my phone calls that I've recorded that I'm not putting out yet. But when you guys hear that statement and go back and watch this live stream about what I just said, you'll probably get the reference and laugh about it a little bit. But yeah, man, policing just isn't what that's why I'm out here exposing these dirty cops. They don't want to do their job of investigating. They just want to, take that government job, like Mike says all the time, that government money, the government benefits. They sign up for a government job, and they don't care. They just, they just don't care. They don't care about their job.
Well, okay, so I think that everybody gets into public service because they want to serve the public, but I think over time, many become very cynical, and it becomes about their pension and about them, and it's sad. And then they have to vote a certain way and conform, almost like a social credit score with their union and everything, and the people in the office to conform to be a certain way. And it's bad. And I think that culture is being spread. And it reminds me of how Maoist communist China was from what I've read in the history books. Look at this. Wow. Thanks, Ralph. Thanks for coming in, by the way. Hello, free thinking slaves. Yeah, no kidding. I appreciate that.
Ralph Riley is actually Big Willie.
That's cool, man. Well, Big Willie, you are the man. And
I think that's the same picture that Big Willie uses. So,
well, to me, he just looks like a biker dude. That tells me he's maximum freedom. I'm all about maximum freedom, so that's good. I like that.
Oh, I think we keep getting the same 4 trolls in here, so I'm going to let you know right now. I put 4 people on notice.
I understand. We're having a pretty good clip right now. We got about 54 people in here. And I'm all about quality over quantity, guys. If I got 54 loyal soldiers in here, I can do a lot more damage than with thousands of sheep, So the core people are the ones we want. And what we want to do is I want to teach you guys how to pursue your rights legally without violating someone else or having the appearance of violating someone else, learning how to think more like a lawyer, be more civil when necessary, get the information that you need, and hold your public servants accountable. Do it in a way that you don't go to jail and you're not generating fees for the great Leviathan that you're trying to thwart or push back a little bit so you can have more freedom. Because it's all about the battle against natural law and the great Leviathan. Natural law, our rights are universal, and they're permanent. And then the Leviathan says the government can take your rights away at whim, and the rights of the group matter more, whereas natural law believes that the rights of the individual are what matters. And you can never support a minority until you first support the singular, until you support the individual. So let's look in the sidebar here.
Where's that $300 super chat, guys? Who's the big guy tonight? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, guys, what you could do is donate right to
Chili's fundraiser.
Yeah, hold up. I'm going to put this link in here. Last night, so this is a separate fundraiser to get him. We're trying to raise money for him for case number 2. I think that we can.
I thought this was for case number 4. I'm kidding. We love Chili. We need to get him out.
This is the case that I call the crime scene tape case. The
case of the hellos for suckers case. All right.
But a better name would be the case of the confused crime scene tape cops.
No,
cops don't even know where the crime scene tape is.
Can we just call it like the crime
scene is?
Can we just call it?
Oh my God! Look at that dude! Right on, man. Thank you, Chevy.
Hey,
thanks.
Holy crap! Hey, we just call it like this, man. Just call it Case Dazed and Confused, like the movie.
Well, I want to almost say like the confused crime scene cops.
Kind of like the Keystone Cops.
because Chevy, check it out. Chevy, check this out. And I appreciate the super chat. That was really kind of you. The reason I say this is because there was one cop there towards the end who was confused as to where the crime scene really was. And there was another cop who said, no, it's here. And then another cop said, let's move the crime scene tape back so he'll be in the crime scene or something. And Chili's just like, what are you guys talking about, right? What are you guys talking about? You guys like that? Freedom, Second Amendment, baby. Woo. Let's see. So to me, I think the case of the confused crime scene cop is pretty cool. But give me a bunch of ones if you like the case of the confused crime scene cop. Semper Fidelis back there, Chevy. Cop.
Hey, what did you tell Chili about that video and what like Ryan said about them being confused when he said
I did.
hellos for
So
suckers?
yes. So when I met with Chili, I discussed that we had a retired police officer go through it, and he was of the opinion that, and this is true, I mean, I'm not making this up, that the officers didn't even have uniformity as to the validity of the arrest because they didn't even know where the zone was that he was violating. They were claiming that he was in a crime scene area, but the crime scene was on the opposite side of the caution tape to where the officers were. It was the street where apparently there was a motorcycle accident where someone died, a motorcycle fatality that was further up the road. So Chili just needed to stay out of the roadway. When he went around into a gas station where a bunch of motorcycle cops were hurdled, and he's just walking there with his cameras, and they approach him, and he's like, "Get the F out of my face." And they didn't like it, and they just made a bunch of stuff up, in my opinion, about this crime. They just had to try to find a way to justify an arrest because he's telling them to F off and mind their own effing business. And the whole idea, guys, is like, look, I wouldn't do that myself. BZ wouldn't behave that way necessarily, but everybody's got their own style, and law enforcement needs to be able to deal with that and not just arrest people because they don't like the way they're being talked to, because that is a First Amendment protected activity. What do you think about that, BZ?
Well, like I said, it all depends on how I am treated and talked to. If those cops had come at me with that aggression, I probably would have snapped back like Chili did. I'm not going to lie. You guys see that in my other video where I was holding restraint, but was still telling the cop basically why I was here, and you're being a dumbass, and here's my rights. And
yeah, the
guy thought he was being slick by writing my plate number down and walking off. And when I said, I think I've seen you in another video, he said, "Have a good day, sir." And he did his little walk of shame. And then they zipped out of the parking lot like they were on some NASCAR track.
So what you're saying is that they escalated it and pissed him off, and they had what was coming to him.
Yes, absolutely 100%. Because when that guy said, "Hello, sir," and he ignored him, and on the video we hear where he pauses it and goes, "Hellos for suckers." Hell, Ryan was dying so hard, and that was a funny statement that Chili went back and edited. So you know what? They had what came to him, because instead of just allowing him to walk freely outside the crime tape, which they damn knew that he was outside the crime tape, they thought they were going to just basically bully some guy with a camera, because there was 4 of them. And the problem they got is when they started giving him directives. We all know how Chili feels about directives directed at him. He's not one that's he's the alpha male. Remember, guys, they are the beta males, and he definitely told them so, and I mean, look at these guys. Even Ryan said that 4 of these clowns were confused and nobody knew what directive to give. I mean, it's like literally like the Keystone Cops or the Four Stooges here. We don't know where the Four Stooge came from, but he's in there. I mean, the one guy just looks dumbfounded. The other 3 are just pulling like a Larry Moe and Curly scenario here, because nobody knows what's going on. I'm surprised he didn't break down and just start laughing at him. I mean, I think at one point he actually did, didn't he? Didn't he kind of chuckle at one point when he said something to him?
I don't know. Let me just. I'm gonna just. This is the fun. This is on the fundraiser.
There
guys.
you go. There you go.
if you guys want to watch this on the actual fundraiser, it's there. Let me make sure you see what I'm seeing, guys. So Basil, you narrate this because I think you're on the right track here, man. I think this is only like 5 minutes, guys. So just bear with me, all right?
All right, so we're going to show the video for the fundraiser, right? The one that,
yeah.
Are you starting it up where hellos for suckers? Because that's my favorite line. Go back some. Go back. Nah, go back like 20 seconds. A little further. Give it another 10.
Can you hear it okay?
No, I can, but speed it up. You're going too far back.
Speed it up now.
Go about 30 seconds forward.
Forward, okay. How about that?
Another 10 seconds. Yeah, just leave it right there.
See that? So this is Chili. Hold on.
Just blow it up.
Chili's walking into.
Just blow it up to the big screen so they can see it.
Well, I don't want to mess.
Okay, leave it right there. I can see it.
Yeah, I don't want to risk anything, guys. Because
okay.
I'm like not the biggest technical genius here. So
just roll that bean footage and zip it.
All right. Well, hold on, man. Just look really quick. See that tape? You guys see the tape? So he's now. So that street beyond the tape, that's the crime scene.
The crime scene's where that light pole is to the left, where it's tied off, where you're pointing the cursor right. No, go back.
Over there.
Right. Yeah. And then it goes to where you see on the outside of the motorcycles.
Out there.
So it's out there in that middle of that intersection. That's where the scene is in the intersection.
Out there. And then Chili's walking over here because he was directed by these cops over here that are on Harleys, or at least one of them was.
No, he was directed by the cop that's now behind him.
Right. But the officers on the Harley let him walk past him like no problem.
Yes.
They directed him, or like they acknowledged him. That's considered a waiver. Okay. That's them acknowledging he's allowed to be there, guys. Make no mistake about it. So he's walking across, he comes across, he zips around here. Now he's coming inside this gas station. There's a bunch of cops over here lined up, and Chili's got both of his cameras probably, right? And he's got his headphones on. He's got his headphones on. You can see an image of him there. He's got one on him and one on the cops. Okay.
Man, he looks like he's on a mission too. Look at that.
He's on a mission, of course, man. This is freaking Navy SEAL of auditing right here. Absolutely.
Here it comes. Turn it up, because here comes the hello for suckers. Wait, pause it. Pause it. I see something. I see something we didn't see before.
What's that?
Go back 5 seconds. Go back to 10, 20, or 4. Right there. Leave it right there. Leave it right there. Wherever you had it. Hit play and then hit pause, because so that way that guy in the back comes in a frame. The guy that's behind the caution tape. Right there. Now hit play real quick again. And hit pause right. Keep going. Right now. Now see how that guy in the back is behind the crime tape? And he's just staring at Chili, not saying a word.
This guy right here on the left, he's behind the crime scene tape.
So he already knows that Chili's outside the crime scene, because that cop's inside the crime scene, watching Chili move freely.
Yes, that makes sense.
I didn't see that before.
So this officer here, who it looks like he's not of any rank, he's just a regular officer, is outside the crime scene.
And this is the fat guy that gets in Chili's face towards the end.
Yes. Okay, you want to keep playing?
Yeah, keep playing, because hello's for suckers right here.
Okay.
Hello, sir. Hello's for suckers.
That guy looks at him and lets him keep walking.
He lets him go. No problem.
They look dumbfounded.
Yeah, he's just filming.
Look at that. Pause it. Pause it. Another thing I just saw.
I just caught something else. Mind your own business.
Go ahead.
Go back 10 seconds. Right at the
Right about there.
Right there. Now pause it. Okay, what do you see in front of that cop that's looking at about to say something? What's on that bike propped up?
A computer, a laptop.
Right. Watch that computer in that cop's hand as you hit play. So
he's doing a report, it looks like.
Right. And what's he in violation of? What's he supposed to protect? People's privacy on that computer, right? And he's outside the crime scene tape. Now watch. Hit play and watch what he does when he sees Chili.
help you, sir?
Yeah. See that, guys? He put the look at that, Basil. That was a great piece of investigative research, man.
Now think about it. Now he's had his back turned to that laptop the whole time. If you go back and watch the video,
yeah, that was really good.
He had his back to that laptop where anybody could have walked up and seen that laptop and gotten personal information off that screen. And that's what I think he's trying to cover his ass on, is because he was breaking policy.
Maybe. Yeah, that makes sense. Or at least he would be breaking policy if he didn't immediately cover it up, right?
Yeah, because go back and watch him again. Watch that video. Because the cop in the patrol car has nothing to say. The guy behind the crime scene tape on the other side has nothing to say. The guys that directed him over there told him to go over there. The only ones that have problems is the ones that have their backs turned and leaving their computers open, sitting around doing nothing when they should be doing something. Okay,
so guys, I want to put this into context. If you look here, this is where Chili is standing. And if you look back where my cursor is, you'll see that where Chili came, he walked through an area where there is no crime scene tape. It's not blocked here. He came through this gas station and walked this way, and he walked to the opposite side of this patrol car. And the officer inside of this patrol car looked at him and just kind of let him go, didn't pay any attention to him. Now Chili's come around here, and he's standing right here filming. And this officer is now engaging him, asking him, how can I help you? Are you ready to go, Basil?
Yeah, back it up so they can see the monitor close one more time.
Okay, stand by.
Because that's a privacy issue.
So you see there's the monitor, it's open, and they're probably working on a report. That's what Ryan said, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had a
But that's actually not the computer. That we just caught another computer that's open.
Okay. So we had this guy, retired officer, come on and say this is typically what they'll do is they'll stand around and do their reports.
Stand around, do nothing, maybe, but
well, yeah. So do you want me to go back more, or is this
no, just hit play from there and watch the second computer, because there's a second computer now.
All right. Hey, give me a bunch of ones if you like how Basil's finding all this stuff. Give me a bunch of ones if you think Basil should be a lawyer. Give me a bunch of ones if you want Basil to go to law school. And give me a bunch of twos if you think that Basil should be a private investigator. All right, here we go.
A 3 for both.
A 3 for both.
Those for suckers.
Look, now here's the second computer.
Yeah, he lets him go by. He's just working on his computer in there. Filming.
Look at that computer.
Can we help you, sir?
Yeah, right there. Closed it.
Can we help you? You could just do your job, mind your own business. That's what you could do.
Excuse me?
I told you, I would say it again, you could mind your own business. I'm doing my job. I appreciate your time. But just, if I was you, I'd just shut your mouth so I don't put you in your place. That's what I'd do if I was you. I'd shut up. If I was you. Unless you want to look like an idiot on YouTube.
Oh, that guy is the sergeant.
Yeah. He's the lead guy.
That way for me. I'm okay. You
Don't tell me where to stand. I'm a constitutional law scholar. I'm suing you guys for $5 million. I'll sue you for $5 million more. You don't have a right to tell me what to do.
I'm just asking you
shut your piggish
We're
mouth.
still doing
And
it.
don't approach me. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth and shut your mouth. I'm your boss. You understand that? Shut your mouth. I'm walking down the street. Mind your own business. I'm just standing here. If you hadn't approached me, don't come behind me, Piggy. Okay. If you hadn't approached me, I don't give a damn what you are. You're not a sergeant. Shut your mouth. I'm here doing my job. I'm a member of the press. I invoke my First Amendment right. Okay. Now, I invoke my Fifth Amendment right, so don't ask me another question. Take 3 steps back, gentlemen. I'm not your suspect. Take 3 steps back from me.
So there's crime scene.
Take 3 steps back from me. I'm walking down the street. I can walk anywhere I want. There's not crime scene right here. The crime tape would be over here then, wouldn't it, dunce cap?
So I had to stop it for a minute. So guys, like on the money. All right. On the money. Chili is just he's lighting them up. You know, they're public servants. He wants to test them. That's the whole point. It's aggressive. It's uncomfortable. He's checking to see if our public servants are going to go nuts and break under pressure and violate people's rights, because being aggressive speech is a First Amendment protected activity. And that's what's going on here. And not everybody's that way. You have that guy, Free Dupree. What's his name? He's really funny. Dupree, man, the guy's hilarious. And then you have
Big Dom, you know?
Yeah, then you have even Long Island Audits. To me, he's kind of like almost like dry English humor in a way.
Well, you got grandma too. Flex your freedoms.
Definitely, flex your freedoms is another hilarious. And anyways, the idea is sometimes auditors and cop watchers will use levity and it breaks it up a little bit. But Chili is definitely 100% focused on being an investigative journalist. This is what he wants to do. This is his focus. This is how he feels you're supposed to act when you're out protesting and seeking change. He's an activist, guys. He's a legitimate activist. I don't care what anybody says. Nobody is willing to put themselves at risk unless they're really, truly an activist. And that's what I see here. And that's what we're here to talk about. And in this particular case, BZWatchdog has pointed out that, and you're going to see this as this video moves forward, that these guys don't even really know, or they're all confused as to where some people know where the crime scene is and they're not saying anything. And right, some people know and they're not saying anything. And other people,
cops, there's 3 cops that I see to our left that aren't really engaged with Chili at this point, that are just sitting there and not saying a word.
Yeah.
But it's Sergeant Clueless and Private Pile over here that have no idea.
Well, we had a retired cop come on and he kind of broke it down and he was just like, yeah, you know, it's like they're all confused. It's like a couple guys obviously knew like where the crime scene was, because
these 2 guys right here, it's like almost watching the movie Dumb and Dumber.
They're just coming up for a pretext to arrest Chili. That's the problem, guys.
That's what it is.
It's always going to be obstruction or delaying
or trespassing or
it's just something. But the bottom line is he's
arrest.
So he's aggressive. He comes off like a jerk, whatever. He's filming. Okay. He's not in their way. He's not doing anything wrong. They're approaching him. They're trying to get in his face. They're grabbing him. They're touching him. He's yelling at him. He's cussing at him. And that's his right to do that. Okay. And that's the problem. You know, you've got that right and you've got to be able to and want to stand up for the rights of people to do that, so long as you don't hurt other people. And Chili was not there with the intent to harm anyone. These cops already knew who Chili was, I'm sure. I mean, everybody knows who Chili is if you're in law enforcement.
Chili was there to hurt them. Just their feelings, though. Just their feelings.
Yeah, that's right, man. Just to hurt their feelings. And that's exactly what happened. Hey, King Braveheart.
I think he was trying to do it because he had already hurt Bork's feelings at this point. So he was just trying to hurt a few more.
That's right. And so let's go ahead and we're almost done with this thing. Let's play it out. So far, I think the best part of this video, if I was Siskel and Ebert, would be "Hello is for suckers."
No, dude, that is like the best line. I mean, it never gets old. I don't care.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, if he did a T-shirt,
"Hello's for suckers,"
he could probably sell a couple million of those for big bucks. That's like a clothing brand right there. That's like big money. I'm going to keep playing this. Here we go.
Sir, I get you didn't graduate from high school, did you?
Tape right there, okay?
We're just asking you. I don't give a rat's ass what you say. Do you understand that?
Sir,
I don't care what you say. I'm not breaking any laws. Make it difficult. If you'd mind your own damn business, we wouldn't be talking right now. If you hadn't opened your mouth, I wouldn't be talking to you. I'm just filming this.
You're okay to film.
I'm a member of the press. I told you I invoked my 5th Amendment right. You have the right to ask questions.
Wait, Mike.
I got the First Amendment. What are the first?
Hold on.
You have your press.
I was dealing with Private Pile.
No. Did you hear what he said?
No, tell me.
It's okay for you to film, but you have to film over there.
Okay. Yeah, I did hear that.
So didn't he just make that a First Amendment problem?
Well, I mean, if you can show that the officer was trying to restrict a legitimate First Amendment protected activity,
he is by prior restraint, by making him move outside further down the road on a crime street.
Okay, if you can show that, if you can show that prove that to a jury or get a judge to buy it and maybe sign off on it, you might have a valid thing going on there. And it's something that I would argue in my bag of legal tricks, so to speak, my defenses and all those types of things. Definitely. And that's a really good observation. And I also think that there are some other issues here.
Before he goes to court on May 1st, right? Can we get this video introduced into evidence this time?
I think so. I mean, I think that the idea, guys, is I did a fundraiser the other day. I raised like $1,300. I think we could raise a lot more. I want to find somebody who we can get up to try to knock the charges out up front. A really good Nevada lawyer, because I think that the DA should reject this case. They should have a second look at it. There was no reason to make this arrest. And if you look at, if somebody goes down there in camera and shows this footage to the DA. I just don't see how the filing deputy would want to move forward with this case.
Well, here's another thing that I have a problem with. You see the other side of the crime tape where that other media guy was?
Yeah.
How come those cops weren't telling him to go film over there?
Oh, well, I mean, obviously Chile got too close to the motorcycles. That we know that the answer to that. They felt uncomfortable having them so close. That's all.
You know, it wasn't even a problem until he started talking back. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, you know, you got to go over there now. Cause I mean, what about the precedents where this guy sits here and talks about, oh, well, now we got to move the crime scene tape.
Yeah.
At that point, they acknowledged that he's outside the crime scene.
Absolutely, man.
That should be grounds to drop it right there.
Okay. So here, guys, I mean, I'm a lawyer. I'm not like the best at all law. I know criminal law pretty well. And typically in a criminal case, what you want is beyond a reasonable doubt to get a conviction.
I wouldn't convict him if I was a jury, there's no way. I mean,
right. And here the jury is going to have to look at this fact pattern where the cops are not even in unison on where the crime scene even is. And we know that where they were was not the crime scene. That was an area that was adjacent to the crime scene. Now, maybe they could have declared it a crime scene, but he walked across based upon being directed there by other officers. That's the issue, is he was directed there by other officers as a way to not be in violation. And a new group of officers who he popped off to when they started talking to him didn't like it. And they found a way to arrest him and then say that he was in a crime scene, right? Isn't that how it went down, BZ?
Pretty much, because first off, there's 5 cops there. 2 are really talking. And even those 2 seem very confused on where the crime scene tape is. One's a supervisor, for crying out loud. He doesn't seem to know where the crime scene tape is. Yeah. You know, and you got somebody in that capacity that's a supervisor, they got to lose those stripes for one, especially after watching this, because they need to go back and go back to be retrained is where they need to go. Obviously, as a supervisor, he should have told everybody else to shut up and try to de-escalate. Instead, he tried to unleash the rabid dogs because his feelings got hurt. I mean, look at this jackboot thug.
I'm a constitutional law scholar, you dunce cap. What's it like to be so stupid? I wonder what that's like. Right there, what's it like to be a moron? What's it like to not know our rights? Correct him. Hey, correct him, sir. Correct this man. Explain to him that he doesn't have a right. Don't put your hands on me.
You've already walked across.
Are you going to run over and grab me? Are you going to run over and grab me? Are you going to run over? Sir, I'm walking down the street, gentlemen. I have a right to film this. You understand that?
I understand.
I have a right to film this. If you touch me, I will sue you. I sue the cops every time. I was walking down the street. I have a right to do so.
Okay, but we are telling you that you need to.
Your cop told me to walk over here. I have it on video.
Whoa, stop it right there.
You're confronting me.
That's true. That is true.
He said your cop
told me
to walk through.
It's true.
Now with this video, case dismissed. How hard is that?
Well, okay, so that's a good question. And it depends on your judge, because a lot of these
prosecution defense, because I'll tell you right now, that prosecutor, I would take this to trial, because didn't he get hit for obstruction and resisting?
The problem is I don't think he was charged with felonies, so the misdemeanors are going to be at play here.
Oh, remember we looked at it. Was there 2 charges on this?
Are there 2 misdemeanors? Is that what's going on?
I'm asking if there's 2 charges.
Well, if there's 2 charges, the
obstruction and resisting, right?
Okay.
What I'm saying is, remember, we looked up the court stuff. Their process is if you have two charges,
right,
which hold at 180 days each, anything over 180 days,
then you're entitled to a
jury trial.
You get a jury trial. That's right. That's right.
Fuck the judge this time. Let's go with the jury.
Well, let's see if that's what's going to happen, because
instead of one person deciding your fate, you now have 12.
Right, but you never know what could happen. That the DA could drop one of the charges and just go forward with the other one, knowing that there's a hanging judge, and no matter what, because the judge acts as a jury, right?
But you know what I know that we guys don't understand is this case is not going in front of Judge Zimmerman, though.
Oh, it's not.
This is actually in a different jurisdiction of the municipal part of Clark County. Really? This is in the incorporated part, so this is going in front of the city judge. not in front of the county judge.
Interesting.
So it's an Asian lady who was very patient with Chili when he was trying to talk during his arraignment.
Yeah.
And I think he has a fair shot with that judge, to be honest with you.
Right.
Because she's about court procedure and not getting her personal opinions involved. And after seeing what happened to Zimmerman all over the news,
yeah,
I don't think she wants the publicity.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Did you see his arraignment? Did you see his arraignment on this charge?
I did.
Go back and watch it again and listen how patient and polite that judge was.
Yeah, I could tell that she was a really nice lady. Yeah, I think she could tell that. I think she recognizes that Chili's a true activist and not like just an actor or something. I mean, you can tell if you've really met Chili and you're a good read on people, you can tell that he really does. He really truly is an activist. I mean, he really is. And he's
even in the comments.
Yeah.
They got people saying that she was decent.
Yeah.
Yes, she was polite.
Yeah.
And we all know how we feel about judges, but the fact that everybody thinks that, she was being patient and polite, unlike Zimmerman, where she was just a complete biatch,
Hey, hold on really quick. Hold on. Donna Walter wants to know if I can file in an upper court in another state with reciprocity. The only way that I know I could do something like that is I think both ways I have to be pro hoc vice, which means I have to sort of be parasitic to a lawyer who's already practicing. They have to let me come in and they have to take lead. I think it's a little easier to do in federal jurisdictions. So
what about Alan Beck?
Alan Beck is the same way. He's licensed in California and Texas. I'm sorry, California and Hawaii, and I'm in California and Texas. So we're able to cover a pretty nice area. You want me to keep playing this bad boy?
Roll that bean footage and that bad chicken.
This bad chicken, as Chili would say. Does he say bad chicken? Is that what he said?
Yeah, bad chicken.
Me, when you should be working on your job. Why don't you shut your mouth and step away from me? I'm just filming.
Let me talk to you, all right?
Who's the commanding officer?
I am.
Okay, then step back from me and leave me alone. I'll stop talking to you and I'll keep walking that way.
Keep walking.
Then go that way. Get out of my face.
No, I will stand right here. You can keep walking.
You're not my boss, bro. I'm yours. You understand that? I make the rules.
I gave you a lawful order. You need to keep walking.
I am walking.
If you do not, then you will be
arrested.
What's your name?
What's your name and badge number?
I'm Sergeant Hutchinson.
Okay. What's your name and badge number? What's your name and badge number?
And that's how you take control, Mike.
All right. If you would just do your job. If you would just do your... I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I did not. I have it on video.
I'm asking you to continue walking.
It's recorded. It's recorded. I'm not going that way. I'm going that way.
You can't. That's the thing.
What is the crime scene about?
This is a fatal car accident.
Okay, so am I in any way near the fatal car accident?
Or
are you just being a dominating pig to me?
Please,
there's no reason to try to detain me or arrest me. I've done nothing wrong.
I'm not.
There's no victim. There's no crime here. You're just being a dominating pig. Leave me alone.
I have not been disrespectful.
All I'm doing is filming. All I was doing is filming the bikes, man. That's all I was doing.
And all I asked you was what you were doing.
And it's none of your business. Do your job. You don't have to answer to you. You're not my daddy. No, I have the officer over there on video told me to walk this way. Go ahead and arrest me and find out how quick I see your ass.
Sir.
Just do it.
Okay.
So that's the problem is that, so Chili's really upset, guys, because he was directed there by another set of law enforcement officers. Go ahead, Basil.
As a trained supervisor conducting an investigation, how hard would it have been to basically tell everybody to stand down and ask Chili what officers and send somebody over there and ask him if he gave him directives to come across over here? And then the second time, Chili says, I have the officer on video telling me that. So why didn't the sergeant ask to see the video and shut everybody up?
Well, here's what I think is going on. I don't think that the DA has the footage of the other officers who directed him. I think they only have the footage of this.
That's why they need this video.
And Chili's got all this footage. And I think that if we hired the right lawyer, unfortunately, I'm not licensed in Nevada, but if I had, if there was somebody here I could partner up with, even with my firm, at least I could make sure that there was somebody here who could help. But I don't have that. And
Mike, what if, let me ask you this. What if Do we even have an idea who the prosecuting attorney is?
I would have to look that up offhand. I don't know that.
Because what I'm thinking is if everybody flooded the link to this video to that person's email and tell them to look at this, and as a juror, I could not convict, I would think that would sway an influence on whether or not to prosecute.
Yeah, I don't know. I would, you know, I would never encourage anybody to do something like that, you know, like to try to be negative. And I don't know that it could sway. But I think for me, I think what could be helpful is for you people to go through these videos and point out anything that you think could be helpful to Chili's defense, and maybe share it with other people who are in law school or other lawyers, even other prosecutors from other jurisdictions who are your friends or family, and try to get their opinions and put it in the comments, because I always find that a fresh set of eyes, somebody who's more objective, is going to give us a better point of view, and it gives you an opportunity to sort of get an example of the extremes. Chili would represent the extreme of an activist who is very assertive and he won't back down. And because law enforcement officers are taught to take control, they flip out. They absolutely short circuit, and you can see the interaction there. What do you have to say about that, BZ?
I'm seeing the comments in there. Everybody, there's people agreeing with me about emailing this video to every district attorney in Nevada. I mean, bottom line is, dude, if you publicize, I'm going to tell you guys this right now. If Mike says, I advise not emailing this link to the district attorney and prosecution, which he has to, look, I get that. But if enough of us publicize his video and do a breakdown and send the link and show that there's no way that I could convict and have it, you know, blow up and go viral in Nevada and muddy the waters of any jury pool that they can pull from, no prosecution is going to be able to. And you can muddy the jury now before they select the jury. So, because everybody watches YouTube or some form of social media. We just need to get this video out more to show how Chili was innocent. Because we don't even know if this lawyer has introduced this video into evidence, because I would think the charges would be dropped already.
Well, you definitely would want, you know, a good lawyer would want to attack this case head on. So for me, if I was his lawyer, and obviously he doesn't have a lawyer right now for this case, but I would want to hit the ground running, and I would immediately want to get this footage. I would want to get down to the district attorney's office and have a private meeting, show them this footage. And if they don't want to play ball, I immediately would want to enter this into evidence and make sure that the judge is going to let it in, because I think it's very exculpatory to Chili. And I think that they don't have the full story. And last time, I believe Chili's video was exculpatory to him as well, and it was excluded in his last trial. So I'm very leery and worried about this getting screwed up. And I really hope that we can find a very competent Las Vegas, Nevada criminal attorney who understands the First Amendment and understands crime scenes. Maybe somebody who's maybe even a former, like a retired law enforcement guy who's now a lawyer who understands crime scenes, because that area was not the crime scene. That was not a danger zone that could have been contaminated or anything like that. And he stated Chili was not causing any problems other than affecting their egos, as will be seen in the finalization of the view.
Okay, I have to walk the other way, so I'm going to be walking over here. Don't tell me what to do.
Please go that way.
Don't tell me what to do.
Then let's just
You're not
walking.
my boss.
I'm giving you a lawful order. Let's start walking now. Let's go. We're going this way.
Are you going to put your hands on me now? Leave me the fuck alone. Well, don't touch me, dude.
I'm just
escorting
you to where you need to go.
Are you guys going to surround me? Leave me alone.
I am escorting you to where
There's no
you need
reason
to
to
go.
do this. I'm not trying to fight anybody.
There's
no victim here. There's no crime. You're just trying to dominate another person. Just leave me alone. Okay, I can leave, but you don't have to walk up on me.
Let's go. You haven't
So
left
what's
yet.
the emergency? Is there an
Because
emergency?
Somebody's dead, sir. Is that enough emergency?
Well, where are they at?
Let's go.
Where are they at? Where are they at? Are they right here?
Let's go, sir.
Am I causing any problems?
Sir. Let's go.
The only
So, okay, guys, this is pretty interesting. So a lot of people are like, well, why is he asking that? Well, because he's a journalist. He's asking, where is the dead person? I'm a journalist. This is a matter of public concern. where are they at? Like, where is the victim? Where is the crime scene? I'm here to film it. And these cops they're bewildered. They're dumbfounded that he would be doing that. Not that he's doing it, but that he's cussing and swearing. I think they're short circuiting. This guy is contesting our authority. We've been trained in the academy that people who contest our authority are crazies. They're violent extremists, whatever. They literally are trained to think that way about people who contest authority. And that goes against the whole premise of being an American, a revolutionary spirit, right? I mean, like BZ, like we were in the Marines, right? Don't we have a reputation that Americans like for being kind of rebellious and like Yankees or whatever, like, or something like to other countries?
I'll tell you right now, with the different militaries I've had to work with around the world, they definitely think that we are a bunch of cowboy American, Yankee Doodle pulling, mother effing, gunslinging, beer guzzling, bunch of jarheads. Now the
USA, baby.
Now the only ones that come close to us that's probably a little crazier would be the British Royal Marines, and that's only because I got to work with them, and when we took them out on the night of on a night of the town in San Diego, I thought they were gonna have to go get these guys out of an American jail with as crazy as they got. So, but they definitely think that even though we look good in uniform, they hold us to the highest standards. They definitely have a John Wayne personality about us, but they know we get the job done.
Yeah, that's right. And recon always gets the job done, even though they're skinny guys, 90-pound dude humping 160 pounds of gear. SEALs are all huge, the little recon guy gets the job done every time.
First to fight, last to leave.
So let's kind of like just go do a little bit of recap, because I got to get out of here too, guys.
I think I'm on a little bit of a mission, man. I think I'm going to be on Operation Chili de Castro right now. I'm working on something on the back channels here.
Right on. So we're going to have maybe we'll do some reconnaissance missions that are like non-direct action missions, like what's it called? IA, indirect action. You're going to do an IA mission?
Yeah, something like that.
So so he's going to do some recon, and we're going to try to come up with some different ways for you auditors to still be able to hold public officials accountable without getting arrested so much. And then King Braveheart, good seeing you. Ralph Riley, thanks for coming. Thanks for the super chats. As always, guys, I'm going to do I think a show on Sunday on the Delete Laws channel where we're just going to do a little bit of a fundraiser. Hopefully I'll talk to Chili either tonight or tomorrow. And, we're going to move forward with this idea of segregating prisons based upon the type of the prisoner, because you don't want crazy people and violent people in with nonviolent people, guys. There's over 500,000 nonviolent people in our prisons, and it just makes them crazy and ruins them, gives them PTSD. They can't prepare their cases. We've got to be more humane when it comes to nonviolent type stuff. And in my opinion, and give me a bunch of ones if you agree with me, that we have overcrowded prisons. It's become a prison industrial complex, and that we need to have a system of education where, we encourage parents to keep their families together and educate our kids on our own, and, encourage civics and love of country, in my opinion. Like when I grew up, everybody wanted to be a Marine or at least join the military. It was normal, right? I don't know about you, Basil, but
family tradition, brother, family tradition.
Yeah, man. Like all my neighbors were sons or daughters of Vietnam veterans. And
hey, by the way, just to let you know, Zimmerman was in Superior Court.
Okay.
That was okay. So
yes, sir.
This Chili's going to municipal court.
Okay, got it. So that's more like maybe an infraction, or I don't know. I have to look at the charges and understand. I thought there were misdemeanors.
On this one, I've got it pulled up. I've got the doc. Obstructing / false info to PO.
False info? What the hell?
Yeah, on the video, what Chili explained on what happened was the cop misheard him and wrote down like the wrong year of his birth date or something. and it came back and tried to say he lied. So the body cam is going to be very important to hear.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Yeah. And
just
by the way, that's
just another way to hem him up. That's
yeah.
all it is.
Yeah, and that's another real big one, guys. You know, in one of my videos, if you look on my, I think it's one of my lives that I did, especially with FBI, because they have, if you, in their mind, lie to them, that is, you can get up to 3 years in prison for that, federal prison. So if you're mistaken about a fact or you didn't remember it right, that agent is the person who can decide whether or not you might go to jail or prison for 3 years. So it's very important that you always speak to a lawyer. If you're approached by any federal officials, they come knocking to your door, just let them know, hey, you don't have to be a jerk, but look, I'm going to plead the Fifth and I'm going to plead the Sixth Amendment. I want to have a lawyer present when I speak to you, just to make sure that everything is good between us, you know, and be respectful and let them know that, you know, that's all you have to do.
I just want to let everybody know the city attorney is going to be handling the prosecution on that case, on Chili's case, on that next one. His name is Jeff Dorick. That's D-O-R-O-C-A-K. And that city attorney's office number is 702-229-6629. Feel free to call. Mike doesn't endorse that, but BZWatchdog does.
So, I mean, yeah, if you have official business, you can always call anybody you want. I'm not going to discourage you. I'm going to.
Isn't it our right to redress our government about our grievances?
Well, I think that might be official business if that's what you're doing it for, because that's clearly a right that you have.
I could never sit in on that jury, by the way, because there's no way that I could prosecute this man based on this video that I've seen.
Well, we've got the last 2 minutes of this bad chicken.
Well, you close it out if you like.
The thing you're doing is losing your cool, acting like an idiot. You're acting like a dunce cat.
Let's go, sir.
You're on camera acting like a moron, bro.
Come on, sir.
No, look at this. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 copies. For what? What good's it doing? What good's it doing? You don't need to escort me. Go back to where you're going. I'm walking. I'm walking right now.
Now let's go.
Now you're threatening me with violence. Now this guy's threatening me with violence.
Let's go, sir.
Now they're pushing me. Look at their hands all over me. Look at that.
You're right. We're escorting you.
Don't fucking touch me, boys. Don't.
Okay, so you heard that. Hold on really quick. So BZ, he said, you're right. He said, you're putting your hands on me. And the officer said, you're right. We're escorting you. So, but why are they escorting him? For what purpose? Because
I don't know. That would be considered battery, wouldn't it?
Yes, that is a battery. And it could be also construed as a false imprisonment because he has no reasonable means of escape. He's being manhandled. I'm sure there's some other kind of Nevada statute maybe that might come into play here.
And we might have a problem with the city attorney because he and his partner, Harry, reside with their 2 dogs, Jax and Cookie. So, yeah.
Well, you never know.
I'm just saying.
You never know, man. I've known some people like that who are big time pro Second Amendment, and that sometimes you get shocked, but I understand what you're saying. I mean, the stereotype definitely goes along with that.
It fits more into that liberal political agenda we were talking about before.
The narrative. Hold on, guys. Let's finish this bad chicken up.
Bad chicken. Yeah, go ahead.
So this is where they're manhandling him, and he's saying, "Hey, we're escorting you." He's saying, "You're manhandling me. Don't put your hands on me." And they're saying, "No, we're escorting you." Okay, so that's the context. Here we go.
We're not going to hurt you. Don't pull away. You had 30 fucking warnings.
You had 30 effing warnings.
Wait, but you guys, I'm suing you guys. Put my hands. Your hands are open. Look, come right here. Look at my thumb. Put my hands down. I'm not going to hurt you. Look at my thumb. It's broken. All right, you're putting 2 handcuffs on me. And why are you cuffing me at all? I'm bleeding. There's no reason to tackle me and put your hands on me. We did not tackle you. Okay.
Yes, sir. We'll grab them.
Okay.
So there's no reason to tackle me. There's no reason to put your hands on me. Will you grab my stuff? Yes, sir. We'll grab your stuff. You heard one officer say at one time, you heard 30 effing warnings. The problem is that there were all kinds of weird warnings. One was that you're safe to be here. Another one was crime scene's over there. Another one is, I'm not sure where the crime scene is. Another one's, well, let's push the tape back to get him to make him move back. In other words, he's not in the crime scene. Let's push the tape back. So he has got to be further away. So the cops aren't even in accord. So these charges are kind of weird. And then of course, a charge of like false information to an officer over a birth date. I mean, that's kind of weak. I mean, they already know who this guy is. If you run Chili through their computer system or whatever in Nevada, he's going to show up. I mean, I think that he's had a residence in Nevada for years. Yep. It's public record. I mean, there's no way that wouldn't be in the police computer. So to me, that's just a flimsy BS charge. And it's just typical of like a pathetic law enforcement officer, just really uncool. You know, I get it. You don't like the guy, whatever, but you know, locking someone up like that, you know, because you don't like him, because he thinks that he's engaging in a protected fundamental right, and he's not causing any trouble to any of those cops. Nothing. They got in his face. They came to him. They got him upset. Yeah, he started swearing and getting upset. Okay, and
who wouldn't?
Right? Who wouldn't? Yeah. I mean, I would be different myself. Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, if
not my
cops,
demeanor,
if
but
there was 2 or more cops barking, I'd do exactly what Chili did. I'd stop them and start asking for name and badge numbers so they'd stop, because they got to identify. It throws them off their game. Okay. Yeah. It's exactly what he did. It's a tactic. You ask them for their name and badge number. That's why you don't ask up front. You do it midway when things start getting heated, because it times them out. They got to stop. They got to answer. You get them all in there. You make them look like dumbasses, and then you go back off on them again and rattle their cages again.
Yeah.
And that's what he did.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. He just, you know, he rattles their cages, and that's why people love him, because he's the one guy who's going to go out there and take risks and test the government officials that are out there to see what they're going to do.
And that's why you got a bunch of damn pigs in the cage. Guess what? He's rattling it.
So, you know, everybody's got their own styles, and that's what I've been trying to point out for all you people who are First Amendment advocates, people who are activists. As a lawyer, I want you to be careful when you're out there not to get arrested. And I always believe that being civil and trying to be kind to everybody is good. But like Basil says, if you get upset, it's only natural. If somebody angers you and they violate your rights, clearly it also sends an impression to the person who's violating you that it's unacceptable and intolerable. And clearly you're within your rights to express that. It's part of being an American. And it's unfortunate that so many school children and others are buying into this social credit system where you have to go along with whatever the official government narrative is, or whatever the official government accepted approved source is. No, guys, do your own research, look up the Bill of Rights, start understanding natural law, read a little bit about John Locke, Thomas Aquinas, and some of our founding fathers like Jefferson. You'll be pleasantly surprised that a lot of the things that they believed in that we believe in. And all we're asking for is just a return to a little bit of the Republican form of government, where the rights of the individual matter to the point where law enforcement become peace officers, and they're not trying to lock us up, and we're not trying to throw people in prison for money, because it's a big prison industrial complex now, guys. Not 500,000 nonviolent people in prison. Are you kidding me? What do you think about that, Basil? I mean, do you think there's more than that? I'm pretty sure it's 500, but that's a lot, right?
Probably. You know what? If we really looked at the numbers, it's probably more than that, dude. I mean, it's not just Nevada and Vegas and doing what they do in there. It's nationwide. It just depends on where you're at. In Arizona, they're quick to do it. Texas, they're quick to do it. PA, they're quick to do it. Indiana, Ohio, Florida. I mean, I can keep naming states. I mean, the quality of people that they're getting, I should say the lack of quality of people that they're getting onto the police departments now. And I think the problem that we have is there's too many agencies in one jurisdiction. If you could do something more like Metro has done and got a little bit more selective of their people, at least this was like this 15 years ago, 20 years ago. got more selective and merged all the departments to where you could cut out all the top brass salaries,
yeah,
you'd have all that extra coverage instead of having all these individual agencies who have all these big chiefs and trying to compete with wages.
yeah,
That they just overlook things trying to get people in the door because they can't find anybody for their smaller agency.
makes sense.
And you know, when you do that, I think you get rid of training, because then you expect them to go, like in Texas, you go to local college for 6 or 8 weeks and get your training, get your little certification card, and some small department will hire you, overlook everything, and then, you know, 2 years from now you're violating somebody's rights and you're a sergeant because they needed to fill the slot. And we're having a problem with Duncanville. They hired somebody internally to be the chief who said that the trespass is a lifelong ban in a public forum at the post office. He's the only idiot I've ever heard say that about a trespass, for one. Why didn't they pull from a national pool of police chiefs? Why did the last one resign or retire after the same sergeant caused a 1983 lawsuit at that department? So I'm just saying the lack of training, lack of leadership, the lack of quality of people that they're getting, you know, and it just, they want more cops, they want more budget. How about we do this? Less cops, less agencies, let everybody carry a firearm on their hip and regulate ourselves, and stop pulling everybody over for a goddamn ticket. You know,
what do you guys think about that?
Solve the damn crime.
Give me a bunch of ones if you think that the cops should stop giving us so many tickets. See if you agree on that. Hey, what do you think, BZ, about the electric vehicles where they're going to have like auto, you know, just give you a ticket as soon as you go over the speed limit? You know, how do you feel about that?
It's unconstitutional, just like the damn traffic cameras. Because how can you prove that I was the one inside the vehicle?
Yeah, but what about the judges who are, you know, obviously getting elected with a lot of donations from those companies that sell that technology? How, you know, they're the ones who make that decision, right?
Doesn't matter if you can't prove the individuals in there. It's reasonable doubt. You don't have a jury of AI over there. You have a jury of people over there.
But you're driving an electric vehicle, right? And it's your vehicle, and they have all this technology to show that you were the one driving it, and now they send you a ticket because you were going 61 according to your
okay, you know what? I have no problem with that. Go ahead and disband your police department, and I'll be good with that.
Got it. So you think that politically they couldn't do it?
No, because the thing is, how are you going to sit here and cry about more money, having cops violate people, write tickets, but yeah, you're going to write a ticket. You're going to write me a ticket for something that my car is saying? What if my car is on the fritz? What if the thing's malfunctioning? And you want to take money out of my pocket when these cops are already doing it?
Right.
Thing is, why do you need the extra money? You don't need it for the police that are
sitting they wouldn't need any police. They wouldn't need police anymore, right? Because you would just get a ticket in the mail.
My point exactly. Like Chili always says, we live in a digital world. So why would we need physical police when we got the digital police?
Yeah. And I agree with him, especially about like registration and tags. Like, why are we pulling people over and having shootouts over an expired registration? These are poor people, right? They can't afford to get their tags renewed. So you're pulling them over and executing them. That's crazy.
Well, no, I mean, think about the cop safety too. So, you know, because we all go back to officer safety. What about the one video that Chili covered where the female cop escalated the situation over the claim that she smelled weed in the car, tased the man 3 times and was torturing him when he pulled out a gun, shot her, hit her in the vest, shot the other cop in the back of the head, and he's getting tried for murder of a police officer.
Yeah.
How is that justified? Because somebody wanted to write a ticket or search my car for claims of marijuana when I'm claiming to the person on the phone and claiming to you that I don't do it, period. Yeah. But you want to escalate the situation and then torture me with a taser.
And put you in torture cuffs, take away your money, and throw you in the dungeon.
No. This is how Chili says it.
Okay.
They find every reason to arrest you, put you in torture cuffs, and impound your car, and steal your money.
Steal your money. Yeah. Yeah. And you know, that is the end game. You know, it's, you got to
And here's another demonetized rendition of delete laws. Oh, sorry. That's usually follows after one of his spiels, but
got to feed the system. So, you know, let's circle back a little bit. So this has been an episode that's gone over, but it's been really cool because we got to talk about a lot of cool stuff. But this was about FOIA and local public records requests. And what we learned is that there are a lot of similarities and a few differences procedurally. But the idea is that you can get information from government agencies who you feel are violating your rights, but you have to be very good at crafting the requests for information. And if you're too broad, if you're too general, then you'll be denied or you'll be stonewalled, and it could take you forever. And ultimately, if no matter how good you are, sometimes you have to go to court because these government officials don't want to give you the information. And so guys like BZWatchdog, non-attorneys, I applaud them, who are out there trying to do this research. And I would like to build a community of people who support the First Amendment, to where we can share information and resources to safely audit and be able to hold public officials accountable in a safe way where you guys aren't going to jail. Because even though I'm a lawyer and stuff, I really don't want to have to bail one of you guys out and deal with all the stress of you calling me all the time, worrying about your case. I'd rather help you be successful in your mission of holding government officials accountable. So are there any questions that anybody has? Thanks, Ralph. Another $2 super chat. Woo! Ding, 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 ding. Here, I'll have a drink of some Modelo for that. And BZ, so what do you think? I know you're working on a book too about FOIA requests and whatnot. What do you think the pipeline's looking like for that?
Not sure, because right now, a lot of it is trial and error from what I'm finding. Yep. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm having a lot of success, but I'm having a few failures at times, and I'm having to go back and either rewrite it a certain verbiage or go back and be a little bit more detailed or a little bit more specific time frame, or something a little bit more specific, so I'm not running into a roadblock where they're denying me stuff, where I can get it on the first shot instead of having to keep resubmitting and resubmitting. Yeah. And like I said, it's a bunch of trial and error. And once I can work out all the kinks, I can start putting an ebook together, or an actual physical copy of a book, to where anybody that wants to learn how to get public information records or FOIA requests, even if you're not in the 1A community, something that you've just been trying to get and you just don't know how to go about getting it. Yeah. Instead of having to pay for lawyers. Oh, sorry, Mike. Instead of having to pay for lawyers,
that's fine.
Do it in paralegals and all this other stuff. If you kind of know how to do it and how to write it and know what you're kind of looking for, and that's what I'm going to make sure that I have instructions for in the book, is to make sure that you guys kind of know where to start looking, how to start asking, and how to start submitting for these requests, so that way you guys can get what you need to. And like I said, if anybody has any problems trying to get a request in the meantime, or even after I write the ebook, please reach out. I'll be more than happy to try to help you the best I can, because I may have already submitted the same request. I may even have the document. And that's kind of what I want to put together too, is all these documents that I am retrieving. I like to make file folders for
a database, right? Like create a database so we can all share information.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Help each other out, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm all about helping. Like I said, I have the only beefs I have are with some of the trolling community. I don't have any beefs with any fellow auditors or cop watchers. In fact, anybody that has beef with anybody else, I'm trying to bring everybody together. There is strength in numbers, and you guys do not realize how important it is to work as one unit. It's what they trained me and taught me in the Marine Corps. I think Michael can agree that you are as strong as your weakest link.
Yep.
And if there's any kind of beef within the ranks, you can't be an effective fighting force.
You're as fast as your slowest man.
Oh no, we carry him. He ain't slow. We carry his ass.
Slows you down. You got to. Everybody's got to be like a
just to let you guys
machine.
know how important, how many gears are working behind the wheel back here. I know you guys see me on the screen, but you guys don't realize the stuff that I'm doing. I haven't really been watching the live stream on my computer. I've been watching it from what I can see right here, so I don't see the chat stuff because I've been trying to pay attention to Mike and I'm looking stuff up. What you guys don't realize, and I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing right now. I am actually in the middle of trying to write this email to Jeff Dorcock with the link already in there of Chili's video where he breaks it down and actually going over all of this stuff and emailing it and basically telling this guy that there's no way as a resident or a citizen who's from Las Vegas that I could ever convict this man.
Right.
But you know, and it wouldn't hurt to send an email, guys. I put the information in the sidebar a little while ago. There's nothing wrong with writing an email and adding the link. I even put the case number in the email description. I really hope this guy looks at this and sees that, you know, bottom line is there's no way that they're going to get a prosecution on this.
Well, you know, I don't know. My thought is if it's a trial by judge, and we don't have the evidence like his own video, there could be. But I'm just telling you, my gut tells me from criminal defense, from years and years of experience, that I just don't. I don't understand the nexus of the charges. He's not in a crime scene. I don't even think they know they're giving him a lawful order or not. There's a lot of confusion. He's left confused, and he is being pushed away from an area that's not even a designated crime scene. I just think that the DA should just drop this one. It doesn't make sense. It's just not. It's not a good case.
Oh, I'm trust me. Wait. Mike, you know what? I'm almost tempted to send you a blind carbon copy of this email so you can kind of.
Hold on, Ralph. Thanks, Ralph. So Ralph gave us another super chat, it looks like. So Ralph, his attorney, I believe, did file a habeas corpus in federal court, and I believe that was denied. And I think it was denied without a hearing, if I'm not mistaken. Do you remember if that's the case, Basil? I can't remember specifically, but all I know is
what was the question? I'm sorry.
Well, Ralph is saying that Chile needs to file a habeas, but I'm pretty sure that they already did that.
On which case? Because he's already had
the one where he's in now.
He's already had it. He's already done with that. We're waiting on the appeals date.
The habeas was denied.
I think the appeals date is it like July the 10th or May the 10th?
I think so. You're right. That's to see. Yeah.
And that's on the appeals on this part of the process.
So anyways, my understanding is that there was a habeas that was filed and it was denied, and I believe it was summarily denied, and I think that it was denied without a hearing on the merits even. So and that's pretty common in a misdemeanor type case. Typically by the time an appeal gets done, you'll be out of jail anyways. I think that's the reasoning. It's kind of weird. But let me see here.
Something similar happened to Jose Mata, Manuel Mata, but they let him out on bond while he was waiting on his pro se appeal that he lost.
Yeah,
and he basically had to go turn himself in, but I guess they had messed up on something. So when he showed up to turn himself in,
yeah,
they said they didn't have any record on him to be jailed.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, they said, okay, you got to come turn yourself in for 30 days instead of 180 days, which was like really weird. And then all of a sudden, he spent 24 hours in jail. They said, okay, Mr. Mata, you're a free man. Have a nice life. So for somebody who lost their appeal, was out on basically out on waiting on appeal.
Yeah.
Was supposed to do 180 days and then was supposed to do 30 days, ended up doing 24 hours.
Yeah, and you'll see that. I mean, we'll see what happens, guys. I just want to get him out of there. I don't think nonviolent people should be in jail, at least not under the circumstances now where they have this integration of craziness and calamity and just it's a house of horrors. It's not just. There's a better way to do this stuff, guys. And it's also become an industrial complex where it's unions and all this stuff that's funneling this money into politicians. And we really need to really rethink what we're doing and become more educated, guys. Wake up, America. Like, stop letting these administrators run you. Take back your country from these administrators. Think about what's going on, guys. Okay, so give me a bunch of OTVOs. King Braveheart, yes, yes, yes. And what do you think, BZ? Are we going to close this bad kitten out? This bad chicken?
Bad chicken, man. Don't call it a kitten because kittens get eaten.
So check it out. We've raised
chickens
tonight,
walk back.
Tonight we raised another like 15 or 20 bucks, $10 from Kevin Bernarski, which is super awesome. And last night we raised like 500 from Charles Phillips, which is super cool, man. That's a really big, nice donation. So we raised last night for Chile $1,325, which I think is really impressive because it's the first fundraiser I've ever done in my life. So I was impressed that I was able to do that. And anyways, I'm going to go ahead and close this bad kitten, bad chicken out.
Bad robot chicken.
Going to close out this bad robot chicken. Thanks again, Chevy, and everybody who was able to contribute tonight and hang out with us. And if you have questions about FOIA or public records requests, or you have anybody in that genre who does that type of stuff, like somebody mentioned, there's somebody called Audit something. Like, I'd love to collaborate with people. If you can put me in touch with anybody, I think the strength in numbers, we could share information and try to come up with better ways to get the public information that's not out there. And hold our public officials accountable, hold the public servants accountable. It's better for all of us. It's better for our society to have openness. And these public records requests are golden to be able to do stuff like that and assist you in uncovering and unmasking corruption, guys. When you get a bunch of redacted documents, you know that there might be some corruption going on. So I just love it when we can unmask corruption and cure these ailments in society. It's really good for the young people to see too, because it restores faith that people who do bad will be held accountable. So with that being said, make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save, because you never know when the thought police are going to take down this channel. And I'll try to reach out to you this weekend. I may see Chili. So smash that like button, subscribe. I may see Chili this weekend. And if we do a fundraiser, we'll do it over at the Delete Laws channel. And I'll notice it in advance. I always like to notice things in advance to give you guys time. But I really encourage you to go to the fundraiser that we set up for this particular arrest, and donate what you can, $5, $10, whatever you can, and help out Chile with this particular effort. There's 1325. I'll tap it really quick to see if anybody else is. Yeah, so that's it. So make sure to like and subscribe. Make sure to save. About what time on Sunday? What do you say, BZ? Like on Sunday, what are you thinking?
I think we should skip Sunday, to be honest with you. I think we don't have the viewer count. I think it'd be a great day to rest, to prepare for battle for the rest of the week.
All right. I might do a 10-minute one if I see Chili, just to give you guys updates.
I think that's all you should do on Sundays. If you see Chili, just do a dungeon update, and
yeah, that's right.
Or update from the dungeon.
Yeah.
Bum,
all right.
Bum.
All right, guys. Well, enjoy your weekend otherwise, guys.
And guys, don't forget to download this video, because you never know when the thought police may take it down. Is that pretty much it?
Yeah, man. Thanks, dude. Hold on. I got it. Wait. Do it. Go.
And don't forget to download this video, because you never know when the thought police may take it down. And with that being said, have a good night.